Yeah, I put on a hat so it showed my face because it said my face was too bright.
Clear off your head didn't help.
You're such a people pleaser. Anyway, we're live, so. All right, it is the weekly Alaboom from February 8th, 2017. We have a full house already. We're not even waiting on Anthony, who just muted himself, apparently. But the ever loquacious Barry Reynolds.
Hey, fuckers.
Gotta get that E rating out of the way, right?
Yeah, I'll just get that rolling right away there.
The podcast is
45 seconds in, and we got our E rating.
No, I think it's 2, isn't it?
I want to look that up. What is it?
Hey, Mr. Ricano, how you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Anthony!
Anthony.
What? What?
How's that game, baby?
It's good. I just finished playing.
Awesome.
What game?
1754.
I just got my copy today. I noticed I didn't have a giant cloth map in it, however.
Yeah, she and I haven't discussed that yet.
Well, I paid him the shipping at BGG Con back in like November or whatever.
Yeah, I know. There's we talked about it on Tuesday for about 30 minutes, and they were kind of figure something out that whatever, and so I didn't bug them about it. I figured when I get a hold of them tomorrow about another issue, I'll bring it back up. So
why they can't? They don't have them, or they can't send them, or what's going on?
They have them, but we're in the middle of redoing websites, and the systems are all kind of messed up and everything right now. So I think that things just got kind of dropped in the cracks for a little bit, but I'll have that taken care of for you tomorrow.
Cool. I appreciate that. I hopefully I can get it before I go to Con of the North next week, so I can have that.
I'll make sure you have it by then.
All right, cool. Keith, did you shave your head or something?
Shave? No. Clip really damn close? Yes.
All right. Hey Jim, how's the tapestry?
Still alive.
Very good. Keith apparently moved to a new room or something.
I'm in my game room today. I got my new laptop, which actually does have a battery that works in it. So I went down here just to see how the new camera worked in the new laptop.
And the camera and the microphone both work at the same time on your laptop. It's amazing. This technology is
poor Anthony.
It's just Anthony's got a face for radio, so he's just doing everybody. Yeah.
Hello, Peter.
And a voice for print.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Hey, where's my why isn't my Arcadia Quest shipped?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Hey, Lance, why isn't my paint shipped?
Your paint has chipped. So there you go. Okay, so what? That's your answer to me? That's
well, I don't really get involved in the logistics of our fulfilling Kickstarters. So
just are there delays? Am I just like, is it just one of those things where I should just be patient?
No, Keith's got a bunch of boxes of ours that got there today. It just depends on when you fall in the queue as to whether you're.
I got mine Saturday.
Keith got his Saturday. See, it's just a matter of what backer number you were and if you got your shipping paid on time and all that stuff. That you fall in the line and then they just go right off the list. So you'll get yours, but they are shipping and they'll be to everybody soon. So I don't think
you'll get yours, Lance. You heard it.
Lance,
you're going to be the last person in North America to get this.
Yes.
Lance,
can we make that happen?
Oh,
I will make a phone call right now. Give me a second.
Ahead. Pile on. Make your jokes.
Wait.
Pile
Look,
on.
I have a serious question. Did you order everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
I did.
Wait, pretty much or yes?
Well, the only thing I think I didn't order were like the plastic placement things or something.
So my experience with Cool Stuff Fulfillment of their Kickstarters is they pack Cool Mini is Simon is they pack all the same shipments together. So everyone who got A, B, C, D, E, F, and G all get packed together. And then if you only got A, B, C, D, E, and F, you're in the next batch of people.
Oh.
Since you only left one thing out, you're in the very last batch. So
if you are in Minnesota,
yeah, and you're on our list of people we hate, then yes.
It is true. They do try to pack pledges together. So if you just got the base pledge with no add-ons, those get packed, and whether versus people who got everything get packed, and then the ones that just picked spot things here and there will probably get packed at a different time. But all of the stuff is here, so everyone in North America is going to get fulfilled soon. All of the stuff containers got out. They're all here now. Now it's a matter of taking them, offloading them, putting the correct label on the correct backer number, and shipping it out. And they're doing it. They always expedite these when they come in. It's all hands on deck until everything is done. So it won't be much longer, unless you're like under 8 feet of snow, and in which case then you may have to get a few delays.
Fine.
I didn't back the first one, so I went heavy on this one, and it came in 2 giant ass boxes.
I slowly but surely collected everything for the first one because I didn't back it, and then Peter was kind enough to hook me up with the last thing I needed, which was the Nameless campaign. You hooked me up with that at
The BGG
Origins.
last year?
No, Origins.
Or was it Origins? That's
Yeah,
Origins.
yeah. It was like, yeah, you like basically had one last one laying around, and you're like, yep, here you go, you can have this one.
I don't know what all I'm missing. I bought a base Kickstarter pledge off of eBay on the first one to get the exclusive shit, but I don't know what I'm missing.
You know, my daughter just really enjoys that game. I think it's just because she likes killing me and killing my characters.
I can see the enjoyment in that.
Yeah,
The pets part looks cool, so that'll be interesting.
yeah. I don't know. It's one of those games too where it's like it doesn't hit the table nearly enough.
Well, realistically, the game takes quite a bit to set up. It's got a lot of components, and it's an evening. It's not just like one of these games you can throw it down in 10 minutes and play, and then back it up and do something else. So games like that for me very seldom hit the table anymore. I have to dedicate a night to playing them, or else they don't get played.
Yeah, I almost feel like I have to play. It has to be an evening where I'm going to hit multiple scenarios, because by the time I get all the crap out, let's get 2 or 3 scenarios in the campaign knocked out, because otherwise we're going to have to remember how to do everything, get it all out, sort our characters and all that crap. So,
Unless you got a table you can leave it set up on, which is the ultimate setup. It is a pain in the butt to pick up and take down.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's. This is the no politics edition of of the weekly Alaboom.
What the hell?
Well, we just lost David.
So, but okay. Well, we'll start off with, first of all, what have you played that's new? Anybody or you played that's old that you enjoyed, or played that's old or new that you hated?
I have played a new game this week, but go ahead, David. You go first.
Oh, I've got nothing.
Oh, okay. I played that New York Slice this week, and I really liked it.
tell me about it, because I know nothing about it other than it's
So
about
New York Slice is a game by Bezier Games that just came out. I got mine in the mail last Thursday. I brought it up to the game store this weekend and played, and it's a pretty cool game where you have 6 stacks of 11 slices of pizza that are all face down, and then there's a daily special that goes on top of each stack, and you take the stack and you flip it out and it forms a pizza, and then the person who's the slicer separates the pizza into sections based on how many players are playing, and then everyone else chooses their section except the slicer. He goes last, and then the daily special goes on top of a slice of pizza, and whoever gets that section gets the special card that has some kind of cool ability. And it was just kind of neat. It's a set collection game. You're trying to have the most of each different type of pizza, and you get points. They're like 3 to 11. So like the supreme pizza may be the number 11, and the pepperoni pizza may be 3. And as you grab your section of pizza, if it has anchovies on it, you get -3 points for each anchovy that's visible. But you can flip it over and eat the pizza, and then you only score a point for every pepperoni on that slice. So you eat certain pieces and leave other pieces out to try to build the highest, get the majority in each of the different types of pizza. And you go through the 6 rounds, and each person is a slicer and continues around. And at the end of the game, you score based on your special cards, the amount of pepperoni and anchovies that are up and down, and the points for the majorities. You score those points. So if you have the majority in the 11 slices of pizza, you get 11 points. If you have the majority in the 3 slices of pizza, you get 3 points. So it was a really cool game, very thematic for pizza slicing, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, it obviously pops on the table.
The
so.
component quality is great. I mean, the cardboard is super thick. Everything, the specials tiles, the pizza tiles, super, excuse me, super thick. And the score pad is even cool because it looks like a old fashioned diner ticket, you know, with the lines and all that, like what you'd see in a greasy spoon. It's really well done.
All right, I have a
So
problem with this
I have a
game.
question. Okay, go ahead, Anthony.
All right, so I have a problem with this game being called New York Slice. You will not find a pizzeria anywhere in New York that will cut a pizza into 11 slices.
Well, no, there's not 11 slices in the pizza. There's just 11 different types of pizza, and the slice, the pie, I think, is actually 8 slices. Yeah, they just have 11 different slices. They got like a pineapple, a meat pizza, pepperoni, mushrooms, cheese, and then they've got combo slices, which is like half a slice. It's like that in-between slice that when you get cut, you got like half pepperoni and then there may be half mushrooms, and those count as like a half point towards those other the specific pizzas that you're getting.
And how come every single game about pizza, anchovies are worth negative points?
I don't
That's
know,
because they're
but
gross.
they're gross, and that's probably why.
I love anchovies.
Can I tell? I want to tell a story about anchovies. This is a good story. So,
All right. See you in an hour.
no, so you know, I've gone on and on about like the millions of jobs I've had in my life, but I worked at several pizzerias, and there was a Pizza Hut that I worked with. It was one of the last Pizza Huts ever in our area that actually was a pizza where you could go in and sit down. You know, now they're all like delivery areas. At least in my area, you can't. We don't have one anymore where you can go and sit at a table. But there was a Korean gentleman who would come in with his family like once, like every 2 weeks or so. And as soon as he would walk in, I remember I was sitting there, I was making pizzas before I was driving for him. And I was making pizzas, and this guy came in, and the manager looked at me and he said, "Throw a small shrimp and anchovy pizza in." And I was like, "What?" You know, because we never made them, right? And he's like, "Yeah, throw one in." That guy, he would come in, his family would get like whatever they got, but he would always get a small pan crust anchovy and shrimp pizza. And like he would like literally he'd order it and he'd have it 60 seconds later. You know, it was just like his thing that it made him like I don't know what, but I mean it was just the strangest thing. He always ordered it. I mean, it looked horrible, it smelled horrible, it couldn't possibly have tasted good, but he always ordered it. There you go. That's my whole story. It was like one of those weird things that like you see him walk in. And that's the only reason why we probably kept that stuff in stock, because nobody ordered anchovies on pizza ever, or shrimp for that matter.
So I have an anchovy story too. So when I was a kid, one of my dad's friends had us over for dinner, and he had steak, and he didn't put salt and pepper on his steak. Instead, he would cut a small slice of anchovy and have it with a bite of steak. And he said, "You get your salt, you get your flavor. It's really good." So I tried it, and ever since then, for me, the top of the line is a nice rare steak.
Well, I like Worcestershire sauce on my steak.
Yeah, me too. I'll take the A1.
So I have a question on this game, though, Pete.
Yes.
Can you play the ultimate fat guy version with real pizza?
Yes, not politically correct.
Yeah, except the slices that. Yeah, when you're passing it around and other people are setting up the pizza, you have a lot of people touching your food. But yes, you could. You could certainly buy 6 large pizzas of different various types, and do the fat guy version. Yes.
As a fat guy, I'm allowed to call my own greens. That right?
It's actually an interesting idea.
That's your game convention event.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else play anything new or cool or interesting?
I don't think I talked about it. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, go ahead.
I don't think I talked about it live on the Boom last week that much, but I did knock out another scenario of Gloomhaven again to try that. And
Still waiting on my copy.
I think Gloomhaven is a neat game. I don't have anything that I think is bad about it. I don't think it's what a lot of people would expect from a dungeon crawl game coming out of the box. But the resettable type, or at least replayable legacy elements where you don't have to actually destroy anything, are cool. The way you grow your board, grow your world, unlock more things is really cool. It's got a little bit of choose your own adventure with road events and city events that you can do. But the game itself is not like most of your dungeon crawl board games. Most of your dungeon crawl board games tend to be very much one person against many, where you've got the overlord mechanism, or you've got the game pretty much if and does this, and there's not much that varies what they're going to do a turn. You know they're going to come attack, and they're all dice fests, right? Most dungeon crawl board games are dice fests, and there are no dice in this game. There is some randomization in the attack cards that come out where you go flip one card that has a potential modifier. It could do double damage. It could make you miss. It could be a +1, a -1, a +2, a -2, or a +0. And then everything is very much somewhat plannable by you because you see your scenario. You know what monsters are going to be in the scenario in each room. You know they're going to come live when you open that door. How they behave each turn is going to be different because you're going to flip a activation card that determines their initiative, as well as if they're going to attack, what a modifier to that attack is, if they're going to move, what the modifier to that move, or any special abilities, or if they're going to heal, or if they're going to have armor. So all of that really gives each different monster, since they have their own deck, a personality. So a guard has a different personality than an archer has, than a shaman has, than a demon has. Everybody has their own personalities to play, and each character is the same way. The character of the Tinkerer is a ranged guy with some AE effects and a lot of healing as well, and some deck manipulation for people, whereas the Brute is just go in, get in people's face, beat the crap out of them, a lot of AE, and soak up as much damage as possible. And then, after so long, that character is going to get retired and something else is going to come out, which is also cool. So do you really want to finish this scenario successfully? Because maybe I want to squeak another game out of this guy. Maybe it's time to put him on the shelf. But the gameplay itself is more of a puzzle, like a Euro, than your typical dungeon crawler, because you know what's in your deck. You know what your deck's capable of. You know what the monsters have the potential to do. You know how many of them there are. So you can very much sit down and plan what you think you're going to do for the whole game, and then react based on the little bit of randomness that comes into it. So it's very much a puzzle versus a dice chucker. So if that's the kind of game you like, it's a really good dungeon crawl for that. If that's not the kind of game you like, and you like dice chuckers, you don't want Gloomhaven.
Well, is it true that it'll take you several years to play it?
Well, I mean, there's 92 scenarios in the book, and it took me a couple hours to play each scenario. So you figure you've got at least you've at least got 180 hours worth of gameplay probably, and more depending on if you can even see anything. Because, and I don't know how it is, because say you don't automatically loot things, right? Unless you either have to use a loot action, which is a specific card that lets you loot, or you have to end your turn on something to loot it. And very minor spoiler, it won't be details, but there was a treasure chest in the first scenario, and doing that treasure chest unlocks something else. If I don't gather that treasure chest, and that's not too much of a spoiler, because if you look at the scenario, it's going to tell you that. I don't know if you'll ever be able to see this other thing or not if you didn't do that treasure chest. I know what I get to see because I do it. I know what everybody that opens that treasure chest is going to get to see. But I don't know if there's some other avenue to get to what I get to if I don't open that treasure chest. So that's that bit of a legacy element, that campaign element, that where it's going to craft your story differently depending on some of the things you do. Depending on which party, your quest goal that each character gets is going to determine what characters unlock next. If you randomize those things, you draw two, you pick one that's going to be that guy's life goal, basically. Once he completes it, he has to retire, and it's going to unlock another character class that's in a sealed envelope and you don't know what it is. But I can play the Brute again, or you could be playing the Brute, and you'll have a different class goal, so it may unlock a completely different character. and probably will. So the order which things unlocked and what people are going to see are going to be different for every group, which is really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of game in there, a lot. And there's some other nice touches, like the tiles aren't all square. They're all not rectangles. There are some hexagon-shaped tiles and some other odd shapes. So when you build the dungeons, they're all not all rectangles or squares. They have a little bit more cool factor when the boards get built out and stuff. So that's another nice thing that I like about it, just right out of the gate. Scenario 2 is not a square dungeon. So, but they're all pretty small. They can't be that where I said it's about a 2 hour for me to play 2-player through a scenario. That's kind of your limit of what you're looking at for each scenario. They're going to be longer or shorter based on your planning, but every character's deck is finite in how many times you're going to be able to go through it, because every time you rest, you're going to remove a card basically from that scenario where you can't use it again. And if you run out of cards, you're knocked out. So you do have a timer running on you the whole time you're playing.
Cool. Like I said, apparently my copy is hung up somewhere with Arcadia Quest, hanging out, having a beer. So,
Yes.
Well, maybe your mail person just doesn't want to haul 20-pound game packages
In the snow,
Maybe you're
both
like-
ways.
Maybe you've blown their back out and they cannot make it anymore.
all right, Anthony, you were talking about some game or something or whatever. I don't know what.
Yeah, 1754 Conquest from Academy.
Yeah, I just got my copy today. Sell me on it.
So, have you played 1812 and 1775 already?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how 1812 it was kind of more about the fighting, and 1775 the maneuvering came a little more into play. This goes up another notch. There are so many cool ways to move in this game and deploy and do your strategy. I like the fact that it's the same system, but it's gone up another step. Quality as usual is great. The map is really cool. There's a lot more territories or areas to go into than the other ones. What's really interesting about the game is I had to send David a message when I got it, because it has a really cool insert that comes in the box, and then there were these 6 plastic things that I didn't know what they were. So I'm like, David, do you know what these are for? And he's like, I'll find out. So it turns out that the insert, it's a plastic, what are they called? The vacuum form trays?
Vacuum seal. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 6 slots where the card decks would go in. You can put the dice for each unit underneath, and there's another long tray that holds all the cubes and everything. But there's a perforation in between each of them. So you actually can separate them, and then these plastic sleeves slide over the top to seal them. So each player, as you're playing, your cards go there for storage, but then you can tilt them up, and you can deal yourself right out of the trays. So it's a very cool little touch that's added to the game. But I also like the fact in the game that, unlike the other ones, you have the Native Americans in here, which are sort of fighting for everybody. They just want to be on the side that's winning. So I can have them, and you can have them. And if I move into your territory, and you have, say, 2, and I bring 2 with me, they pretty much negate each other out, and they all leave. So it's a way to not even worry about fighting, to neutralize the other side, because they automatically say, "Well, you know what? I'm not fighting against other Native American. We're out. We're sitting this one out," and that's it. They go away. So really cool. And then also, I like it has the same thing with when you run away from battle. You're going off to the side, and then when you do reinforcements, you pull all those people that fled last time, and you can reinforce them in other places on the board, which is really cool. But another winner, 1754 Conquest.
What is sad is I don't even have a copy of the game.
Wow. Anyone else?
I did play Grimslingers today. That was
thank
pretty cool. I don't know if we played it right or not. I was actually just looking up a video because it reminded me of this conversation of how the combat and everything works. But me and Richard picked it up yesterday, and we went over to his house and tried to play it. And it seems really cool. It's got a lot of really cool things going on. Just wasn't quite sure if we were playing it correctly or not. The rules were a little vague on a couple different things. So Gonna play that again this weekend, hopefully.
Did you play it combative, or did you play the
Well,
scenario?
that's the thing. We played the cooperative,
Mhm.
but because we hadn't played the combative, we had to kind of learn the whole thing. And because it makes you bounce back and forth in the rules, it was a little difficult to grasp right away. I think if we had just played a versus game and got the basics down, it would have made the cooperative much easier. So that's why I'm going to try to find some videos about the competitive version so I can get the basic combat stuff down. Because we were trying to figure out, like, when do you draw back up cards, or the only way you get cards by taking your reload action, or there was some things that we just weren't clear. And I think if I either need to read the whole rule book, or I need to just see watch a tutorial video on it or something.
Yeah, the first time I played it, it was kind of confusing as well. But once you get it, it's really pretty simple.
It looks cool. I mean, the things that you can do in the co-op campaign game is pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to getting into it.
I had a flea market. My local game store had a flea market, and I did what everybody assumed that I was going to do, and they got upset because last time they had a flea market, it was basically these people like brought like their handful of things they wanted to sell, and then I show up with like 200 games.
Nice.
And so they end up spending whatever money they make off their stuff that they sell over by me, or like I take everybody's money, which is like, but I was just giving stuff away towards the end. I was just to get it out of, just so I didn't have to bring it home. I just was, just like, it was like I showed my wife. I showed her like the 11 boxes that I had in my truck that I was going to drive over to the store, and she like, yeah, it still doesn't even look like a dent in your stuff. So I was just like, oh. I was like, but I'm getting rid of this stuff. It's going. It's leaving the house. But yeah, I made a little bit of money, and that was fun, hanging out with people for an afternoon, talking games. Basically, like telling people, buy another one for $5. Just pick one. I don't care, any of them. $5 more. It was fun to get rid of stuff, though. It is kind of, it's like, it feels it feels good to purge stuff every once in a while.
Yes.
Hear that? I got to do that too soon.
Yes.
I don't need to purge for a little bit.
Yeah, no, we're
Because of that.
Yeah, I don't need to purge either because I've got empty space, but I know what's going to happen by the end of this convention season. So if I purge now, it saves me having to mega purge right before the holidays.
Right.
No.
I've got an empty closet too, so I'm good.
No, it's one of those things where it's like
Wait a minute. Go back there. Do you have Leaders of Euphoria sitting on your shelf there?
who are you talking to?
He's
Keith.
talking to Keith.
Which
Right behind Keith. I thought I saw Leaders of Euphoria.
No, I don't think so. I've got
Or is it just Euphoria?
I've got the Euphoria, just Euphoria.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Jim, have you played anything new? I mean, you sent me like 17 emails about your new game coming.
I didn't send you any emails.
Why am I getting emails like about like your new game and like your like pictures of your new game? Why don't you talk about your new game a little bit?
I did. So the new game is called Be Mused. You play a muse, and there are 6 artists in the game.
Mused, I get it.
Yeah, and so you might be the painter or the dancer, and what you do is you are virtuoso to be the greatest acclaimed virtuoso. All the virtuosos are equally capable of channeling their muse's creativity, so you decide you're going to tear down your opponents instead. So you take turns placing doubt and dread cards on each other, and you drive each other insane. So that's basically the nutshell of the game. Tawny Pettit did some absolutely stunning artwork for it. Each of the cards is a tarot-sized card from a punch-out board, so they're nice and stocky. Each of the virtuosos has a special ability, such as moving dread from one player to another, or removing doubts, or changing doubts to dreads, and so on. And if you go insane with enough dread on you, you die and become a phantasm or a ghost, and the phantasms can also win the game. And then on top of that, there's a little secret card that tells you what you want another player's end state to be. And if you get the end state, then you get some extra points. It plays with 4 players in about 15 minutes. With a full complement of 6 players, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play.
Wow, that cover is really nice.
Yeah,
It's
fantastic art.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. Naomi Robinson did the art for it. She did a beautiful job. And all of the symbols that are coming out of her hands are the symbols on the card. So the thespian doubt can be played on the thespian character and so on. So the cards are all done in colors and with symbols. So colorblind people can easily see what the symbols are.
I don't know why
If you guys want to see more of it. I'm sorry, what, David?
You went for the Xanadu look. Come on now.
What's Xanadu look?
Xanadu. Don't you remember Xanadu?
Olivia Newton-John?
Yeah, that was about her. She was a muse.
You know, I
never saw the
that
movie, believe it or
with
not.
my sister way back in the day. And then didn't it break into like animation at one point or something?
I think there was some slight animation in there. Yeah, it was mostly it's a musical. So yeah, it was right up Jim's alley.
Well, if any of you guys are interested, if you go to the Devious Weasel website, you can see the box front, box back, and the rule book. They're password protected, and the password is THX1138.
Nice.
Nice.
Capital T, capital H, capital X. I'll be posting the final artwork later on. It's really stunning.
That is beautiful.
Well, okay, so here we go. The airing of grievances. Does anybody have any grievances they want to air?
I'm done airing grievances.
Well, you gotta be upset that you can't bring your puppy home sooner.
It's hard. But I mean, I knew once we told her we were going to take it, that it would be 2 months. So, but it is
Oh,
what
how
it
many
is.
more days? Like a couple weeks?
Oh no, it won't be till April.
Ugh.
Yeah, it won't be till April till I get to bring her home. So she's only 2 weeks old. So
Did you come up with a name yet?
Nope. I just showed Olivia on Saturday. We were going to take her out, but the puppies weren't at the society, so she didn't get to go see it. But we showed her pictures, and so she's thinking of names over the next couple of weeks.
What kind of puppy?
It's a Shar-Pei Lab mix, and we just happened to we volunteer at a dog shelter kind of thing, and they happened to get this litter of puppies, and the mother passed away, and you can't walk into the a shelter like that and not walk out with something. So I got suckered in.
Aw.
Yeah, she's sweetie though.
Hey, Anthony, you might know the answer to this question.
What?
So what happened to the portal website? Why can't they
Okay, so this is if you know
what? Who? What? Everybody's trying to talk. Go ahead.
All right, so if you know about like the Dice Tower fundraiser this year at Indiegogo, as of the 25th of January, Indiegogo stopped using PayPal because PayPal has instituted a new rule that you cannot use PayPal for pre-orders if they're not delivered within 20 days of accepting payment.
Yeah.
The only time you can do that is if you are taking pre-orders through eBay, because they control both companies. So what happened was Portal started the pre-order, was taking payments through PayPal because it was easier for everybody, and then PayPal instituted this new rule and basically told Portal they're holding on to the money until the games are delivered.
So they had to stop their pre-orders, or they're going to start them up again?
So they stopped the pre-orders. There's only a couple hundred left. Look at Jim making it now.
Yeah, he's making out of it.
I'm sorry.
Slip of the tongue.
I need to go
Jim
away
was
for a
making
few
out with his
minutes.
wife on camera.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so they suspended the pre-order period
Jim, just
because
go and
they
get
can't
it
take
already.
PayPal.
I'm listening, Anthony.
I'm listening.
So yeah, that's basically what happened. So basically, they sold 2,700 something of the 3,000 in pre-orders, and they had to stop because PayPal basically told them they're not giving them the money until they deliver the games.
Are they going to? Are they going to sell the last 200 or so, or what are they going to do?
They're trying to work something out to be able to get the last couple hundred out there, but they had a backup plan in place to fund, to front the money, to print them anyway. But it just kind of puts them in in a hole for some other stuff because that's I don't know how much is 3,000 times what was the game, $70?
Yeah.
Something like that.
$75.
So yeah, it's a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
$250,000. Roughly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I know. I had a couple buddies who wanted to get in on it, and then they were like, "Yeah, I can't freaking do it anymore." So
I would have just had everybody go back to PayPal and refund it. Do it again in a different system.
yeah, that would be kind of a mess, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, PayPal would probably want to keep some of it.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to have everybody literally order it again using their credit card directly from the portal site.
Mhm.
And then once you order it again, then they put the refund request through.
Yeah. Sadly, if I could have bought it with credit card instead of PayPal, I would have to start with. But then you've got people that, somebody's using a credit card to buy something in Poland. Let's put a hold on this card until we find out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you have that, and then also like every time I do like a Kickstarter from something outside of the United States, I have to go through like this long explanation with my bank because I use my debit card for that stuff so I don't overspend. But they every single time I have an issue with it because they're like, "Oh, your transaction didn't go through." I'm like, "There's plenty of money sitting in there. That's why that money is there. It's for these things." And then I have to go and call them and approve this and approve that, and then finally they put it through, and I'm like, "Okay, this is ridiculous." But
Yeah, and that happens even if you call them ahead of time and notify them.
Yep. Fair enough.
it happened with something else. There was another project that happened with what was it, Vast?
Vast had the problem I read.
Yeah. Because they opened
And
up.
they held it for 3 months after they delivered too.
Yep. That's the other problem too. Is it's not like it's delivered, release the money. No, they'll take their sweet time releasing it after that. So.
Interesting. So there you go. Nobody else here cares about wrestling. I was going to talk a little. I'm excited for the Elimination Chamber this Sunday, but nobody else cares about it. So dang it. You all should watch wrestling. It's good stuff.
No, it's not.
It's just like any other TV.
No, it's not. It's stupid.
I watch mixed martial arts. It's real.
I don't care that it's not real. I just kick the stupid storylines and all this other bullshit that goes on in it.
Well, I mean, it's just
what was that the wrestling from Japan?
Well,
really
there's
acrobatic,
several,
super.
but New Japan Pro Wrestling is the big one.
Yeah,
but
that
Anthony,
stuff is
all those
entertaining.
TV shows you watch, those are just scripted as well. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, but they're not stupidly scripted.
So
speaking of new TV shows, anybody watch 24?
Nope.
It's actually really good.
Oh, it's stupid.
I was still in shock after the Super Bowl.
It's stupidly written.
I'm looking forward to Legion.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to screw that up.
I heard that
Legion was
critics
an excellent,
really like
excellent character in the old thing. I actually, my wife and I started watching the new Netflix thing with Drew Barrymore in it, who's a zombie.
I finished it.
We were on 6th episode or so.
So you got 4 or 5.
Is that iZombie?
No.
No, it's like Santa Clarita Diet or something like that. Basically, they haven't really explained too much about it, but yeah, basically Drew Barrymore like just wakes up one day and she's a zombie. Like she's dead, but she wants to eat people, and
She's a zombie, but she's not your brainless zombie. You know, she's like herself, but she wants to eat people.
But it's weird because it's like her and her husband, they have like, because they've been like married for like 20 years or something like that. They have like a teenage daughter. So like in the midst of them trying to hide like dead bodies and keep them fresh enough so she can eat them, they're also having like standard like midlife crisis married couple conversations, you know, about like, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, it's like, we can't take out another mortgage, you know, and things like that, you know, so it's like, it's anachronistic and funny at the same time. So,
yeah, it's okay, but the season ended not in a good way for me. So, nah.
Well, thanks for ruining it for me.
Hey, I just said not in a good way for me. That's all. You might love it. But it was an interesting show. I pushed through it.
Yeah, I somebody tried to tell me that The Expanse was a really good show, and that's on like Amazon Prime streaming, and I forced myself to sit through 2 episodes, and I've given up on it. I was just like, this is not interesting me right now. Maybe later, I don't know. But somebody was just like, oh, it's like the best new science fiction like space thing ever, and I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot here. Nope. So I don't know if I just Barry, you watch everything. Have you watched that?
No, I don't watch everything.
Well, it seems like you always seem to be watching TV. So,
what do you guys think of the new Iron Fist trailer?
That looks pretty good.
Good. Looks good.
It fleshes him out a little bit. It's kind of neat that it's Loris Tyrell doing the thing, and it looks like he can actually he actually has the moves and yeah, you know, so yeah, I mean, the proof's in the pudding, so to speak. At least they have Colleen Wing. It looks like they're actually going to do her justice, and they brought back I can't think of the character's name now. They brought back the woman who runs that league that showed up in Daredevil just briefly enough to like let you know that like it's going to tie into Iron Fist. So yeah, it looks good. I think they'll do well with it. It'll be good.
Somebody was saying something about the Stranger Things 2 trailer.
Yeah, that was in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
like a little 30-second blurb, but man, I got goosebumps. I mean, just them wearing like the Ghostbusters outfits, and yeah, good stuff. Well worth the seeing that. Pretty
Does
cool.
anybody know when that's going to drop?
Halloween.
I think it's Halloween. It's Halloween. Like yeah. So yeah, just take Halloween off and start watching at 8 o'clock in the morning and get through the whole thing, I suppose.
You better, or else it'll get spoiled on the internet.
Yeah, I mean that would be my plan anyway, because I'm lame. Or start watching at 12:01 and just burn through it. You know, that was probably the best show for me last year. And I don't watch a lot of TV, so I mean it's a small.
I agree.
It was great.
It came out of absolutely nowhere.
You know what else
I wonder
is
how
on
much appeal
Netflix?
it has.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say, I wonder how much appeal it has to younger audiences that don't have the history of like old D&D and stuff like that ties it together for folks like us.
You know, I can honestly say I think my wife enjoyed it. She didn't enjoy it as much as I did, but she liked it.
Well, yeah, there's the nostalgia factor for us, but even besides that, the story is really solid. So I think that would capture anyone, regardless of what their, how old they are, what background. Just the stories were really well done.
So I agree with you 100%. I'm not. I guess my question is more. I know what I found in it, and I found a lot of nostalgia was what really fascinated me with it, as well as the story. I can't put my mind in the position of someone who didn't have the nostalgia. I'm just wondering what the big hook was for them, because it was obviously a hook.
Yeah, maybe the hype. I mean, it was hyped so much that maybe just that kind of gets you hooked in. You hear everyone talking about it. It's on the buzz. It's trending on Twitter, and you just that hype can sometimes build that hook. Without there actually having to really be one.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one thing that really struck me about Stranger Things is when you think about it popping from storyline to storyline, like the teenager storyline, the Hopper storyline, and so on and so forth. I never felt, oh God, not this one again. It was always like, oh yeah, I wanted to know what's happening with this story. I thought that was a really nice thing that you don't see in a lot of multi-story stories.
I got a little bit tired of Winona Ryder on it. Just because it was just, I mean, she was like so hysterical and like just a complete nutball that it was just like it dragged those scenes with her in it. I mean,
I would agree with that. If there was one, I mean, not that I didn't like it, but if there was one point where I would have liked less of, it would have been the scenes she was in.
Well, just that solo scenes of her sitting in the trailer and just or the house or whatever it was, and just like just showing. Well, here's another 15 minutes of showing just again how exasperated she is, and yes, we get it. She's losing her mind. Can we? Like go back to the kids because they're actually interesting and it's just it was less would have been more in that situation now because there was too much of it where nothing happened, right? It was like, okay, the stuff where like the lights start blinking and stuff like that was cool, that was really interesting. The stuff where like the phone, like spoiler alert if you haven't watched first season, but like the phone explodes on her or whatever, and just like and she's like listening in and stuff like that. That was cool.
But the rest of it has to be there because
I think what Lance is saying is he doesn't like women.
That's what I'm hearing.
It's all coming
I'm
together.
going to disagree with you, Lance. I disagree with you. I like those scenes.
Yeah, so did I actually.
I think that nothing happening affected me the same way that the nothing happening scene in Poltergeist affected me. When Jo Beth Williams is in the tub and you know something's going to happen, but it doesn't, and it sets you up for those other scenes later.
Yeah, but something did happen with Jo Beth Williams in the tub, though. I mean, it was like it just didn't happen to her. It was like
No, it didn't.
No, because there was still stuff going on outside of the room, and it was maybe I'm misremembering here, but I mean, I don't know. The thing is, I did think Stranger Things did one thing really, really well. Yeah, there were a couple of jump scare moments and things like that, which I always think are really cheap, because the one thing I've learned is like, okay, so here's a jump scare moment, and like the ramp. I've talked about this before. You ramp the music. I'm able to actually then. I can disconnect. I can just say, okay, they're gonna just throw something at me to scare me here, and it's a TV show, it's a movie, it can't hurt me. Go ahead, just like okay, there's the thing or whatever. But when you do something that's eerie or just spooky, like and without the jump scare, like where you don't, because that whole thing, it's a buildup of the tension. And then the release, it gives you that release. You're like, oh, okay, thank goodness. But when you have something that's spooky or eerie, they build it up, but they don't give you the release. They don't snap it. They don't break it. And that's what is really good as far as Stranger Things.
Kid says that she agrees with Jim and I, so you're wrong.
all right. So, so Lance, the thing about her losing her mind is the scenes where she's losing her mind that you're referring to. Those things all take place before you get more info on what is going on. So it keeps keeps you guessing: is she just going crazy, or is this stuff actually happening?
No, there's things where she was just being a total nutball too, and like you were just, but you knew something was going on because of the fact that you see the thing is stalking the kid. It's coming down, and like he goes and he runs and he hides in the shed. And then he vanishes. Something's going on.
How is that any different than the pool scene when what's her name's best friend disappears and you don't figure it? Nothing happens for like 3 or 4 episodes after that before it's even brought back up again. That's a nothing scene in a sense. I Right? It was a scare for a second, but that's all it was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was like there were things about it that were just like you could tell there was stuff that they left on the floor, on the cutting room floor, like they weren't able to, like they mention offhandedly that 3 hunters are missing. You know, they went out into the forest or whatever. But then it's kind of almost mentioned offhandedly, so you kind of wonder, did they have a scene where these guys went out hunting and vanished or whatever and stuff like that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it was really good, and like I hate when I start picking nits on stuff, and start to pick things apart, because I should just enjoy it for what it was.
For the most part, it works on all levels, right? It's not like there's a lot wrong with the series. So, you know, they did a good job overall. Obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really ever get excited about shows. I mean, like I get excited about like the next season of for a while I was excited about the next season of The Killing, because like the first 2 seasons of The Killing were like so good, and then that show just fell apart. If you haven't watched the first season of The Killing, what?
They wrote Mac Drizzle wrote, if Lance wrote it, it would be Rick and Morty Stranger Things.
Yeah, maybe it would be awesome. But no, if you have, you can find it on Netflix. Like, watch the first season of The Killing. It is. I go back and watch the first season of The Killing again just to remind myself how in depth that storytelling is, as far as like the mystery of this person's death. And I won't give anything away, but like the number of different storylines they bounce back and forth through. House of Cards, I'm excited to see the next season of that. That's an excellent show with Kevin Spacey.
Robotech just went on Netflix today too.
Yep.
Stranger Things, obviously Game of Thrones. You know, looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like one of the few people I think who would have been happy if Stranger Things was 1 season. That was it.
I am worried that they may, just because of the hype, run it into the ground, because the first season was so good. It's like, how are you going to top that? But
well, they said that when they realized how like what they originally supposedly had like a 1 season idea, and then when they presented it, and then they got the go ahead from Netflix, they presented their storyline about halfway through, and Netflix came back and said, you need to make this more seasons. This is going to be amazing. And they went back.
I thought they had a whole bunch of backstory and a whole bunch of story written, and they just pulled a part of it out for the Netflix series.
What I heard was they were going to do 1 season, but Netflix basically said that no, we're going to do multiple ones in this one because it's going to be good. I read somewhere that Netflix like loses money on every single one of the things that it creates itself. It's just, and if you actually go to Netflix originals, there's tons of Netflix original stuff that you aren't watching, that they're like just throwing stuff against a wall and hoping it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they get those few things that stick, hopefully those will pay for it. But yeah, like Netflix is saying like the $9 a month it's charging people or whatever. I mean, it's not enough. It's just they're weirdly operating at a loss right now, but they're still a very very valuable company, however that works, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I like, what do they say, in 5 years we won't have normal TV anymore. It'll all be just watch what you want. You know, and you know, it should be like that. You know, you shouldn't have to like, I gotta make sure I'm sitting here at 7:00 so I can watch this show. What do we live in, the dark ages or something? But there you go. That's my little rant. That was kind of a grievance of mine. There you go. Little airing of the grievance. Who here is going to Gamma? I'm going to Gamma.
I don't know yet. Somebody asked me today if I was going to Gamma. They wanted to have a meeting with me. And I don't know.
Not I.
I don't know. You know, I know I'm not going with Academy Games, so if I go, it's just one of me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going Gamma. And then I'm going to Meeple Con right afterwards. And then we got to wait until like Origins, basically.
Origins. Well, actually, the Cool Mini Expo will be my first show this year, which is in May, and then Origins, Gen Con, Dice Tower, BGG Con. I have a lighter travel schedule this year. We hired so many people over the last year at Cool Mini that we had to kind of spread out who was doing shows. So I don't have to go to Gamma this year. So I actually got my schedule, my travel schedule dropped a little bit, which was nice. A little more time home with the fam.
I actually enjoy Gamma compared to some of the other shows.
I do too. It would not have been my first choice of shows to cut, but it made the most sense because we hired new marketing people, and they really need to be at Gamma more than I do. So,
Right.
But I enjoyed it just because I don't ever go to Vegas, so it was like my excuse to go to Vegas and catch a show and have some nice meals, and I would never spend the money to go out there just on my own. So it was kind of nice to go without having to cost a lot of money.
Right. Truth.
And MeepleCon is really cool. I went to MeepleCon last year after Gamma and had a really good time. It's quite a nice little convention there, so Lance will have fun with that.
I forgot Lance was doing MeepleCon. I'll have to look at that.
Well, I mean, I have before and after. Keith, you're doing initials, right?
I've got turbo initials.
What's turbo initials?
Because I've only got 10 of them. Because after I picked my initials, I ran out of people.
Nice. So it's already 11 o'clock. So turbo initials works good for me because I got to go to bed.
I'm actually gonna have to sign off. I got an early day at work tomorrow. No.
You got to stay for before and after. Before and after is easy.
Going to.
You missed Sam Waterston last week.
Yeah.
Did you ask Sam Waterston?
Yes.
I'm so sad. All right, Sam Elliott.
All right, so I'm gonna. This is before and after. This is not for. We're not keeping score. These are 20 things that have a connection. There's always 20. But
every week it goes up. Every week it goes up.
It's been 20 the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I thought it started at like 16, and then it was 18, and now it's 20.
Anyway,
It's been 24 hours.
Since the past.
Yep.
It is 20, and it'll remain 20. It might go lower if I don't run out of time. But anyway, so these are 20 things that connect some way between the before and the after. And for those of you listening at home who have never heard of this before, this would be like a sample clue. A Indianapolis Colts wide receiver plays Han Solo, and the answer then would be Marvin Harrison Ford. Because Marvin Harrison and Harrison Ford, you connect those two together. There you go. We got 20 of them. We're not keeping score. This is just for fun and for pride. Is everybody ready?
I have no.
Go.
All right. So here we go. The Journal of a Jewish Girl. I know it isn't Anthony because his mic isn't all garbled up. The Journal of a Jewish Girl seeks revenge against the mob for the death of his family. Go ahead.
Anne Frank Castle.
I'll give it to you, but it's the Diary of Anne Frank Castle.
Nice. I'd give it to him too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
I was waiting for the second half.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you, Anthony. Curb your enthusiasm for the X-Files.
Anthony.
Did somebody say something? Anthony, what do you got for me?
Larry David Duchovny.
Larry David Duchovny is correct. Yes.
I think what he really said was.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
I could understand him.
Donald Duck over there talking to us.
If it's during initials, he could reboot and be back and still win.
Yeah. Oh, not with turbo initials. All right, here we go. This 80 proof blend of 40 whiskeys aged 12 years is inhuman and can't speak out loud. This 80 proof blend of 40 whiskeys aged 12 years is inhuman and can't speak out loud. Ooh, I might get one here. This, I'll give a hint. This is a comic book related thing. This 80 proof blend of 40 whiskeys, aged 12. Anthony.
Johnny Walker Black Bolt.
Johnny Walker Black Bolt.
And that's what I was thinking about. I couldn't remember what Walker Black.
Yeah.
I had Black Bolt, but that was it.
Yeah.
You're the whiskey guy. You couldn't pull Johnny Walker.
No. You lost me at blended.
Oh, all right. Sorry. No. Yes. Black Bolt cannot speak out loud, or his voice is like a weapon.
No, but what was the Walker Black? What was that?
Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker Black is like Johnny Walker has like 5 different colored labels or 6.
Oh,
and like,
got it.
I think
Okay, yeah.
I think Johnny Walker Black is like the least expensive of their whiskeys.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay.
so here we go. The woman who most likely killed her father and stepmother with an axe cleans teeth for a living.
Anthony. Lizzie Bortentist.
Try again.
Lizzie Borden Hygienist.
Lizzie Bordental Hygienist. Yes, that is correct.
Hey, Anthony, people are taking orders, or want you to take orders in the chat here.
Yeah, make sure to laugh yourself. You hear that?
No.
You know, every time I hear you talk, Anthony, I feel like I should be ordering fries and a burger.
And yet, I'm still winning.
We don't keep score.
Look at the competition.
Yeah. The Human Torch sinks George Clooney's fishing boat with a giant wave.
Anthony. Johnny Storm of the Century.
Johnny Storm of the Century.
I told you I hate this fucking game.
He fought with the Howling Commandos in WW2 and with Mad Max against Immortan Joe.
Anthony. Sergeant Fury Road.
He fought with the Howling Commandos in WW2 and with Mad Max against Immortan Joe. Anthony was almost there. He fought with the Howling Commandos in WW2 and with Mad Max against Immortan Joe.
Pete. Nick Fury Road.
Close. What was the girl's name in the movie?
I can't remember.
Oh, I got it now.
Tough.
Agent Carter? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's Sergeant. Can I say it?
Yeah.
No.
No, apparently you can't. You're not allowed.
You can say it, it just doesn't count.
I'll give the point to Barry. Sergeant Furiosa.
Yeah, Sergeant Nick Furiosa. Producer of Lethal Weapon and The Matrix travels faster than light on his board.
I know the last half. I just don't know the first half.
Keith. Bronze Silver Surfer. I didn't know his first name.
Producer of Lethal Weapon and The Matrix travels faster than light on his board. He's like Anthony.
Joel Silver Surfer.
Yeah, Joel Silver Surfer. Joel Silver is like the producer right now.
Yeah.
The Earth's Sorcerer Supreme fights the Demogorgon in the Upside Down.
Pete.
Keith.
Yeah.
Bob.
Dr. Stranger Things.
Yeah, it was easy.
Or Steven Stranger Things we would have accepted as well. It's kind of weird. It's like, yeah, you guys we started talking about Stranger Things, and there you go. Must have been on my mind or something. The greatest work of your life is a flightless waterfall from the comics. The greatest work of your life is David.
Poop Howard the Duck.
The greatest work of your life is a flightless waterfowl from the comics.
I can only think of 2 words.
The greatest work of your life is a flightless waterfowl from the comics. Pete.
Masterpiece of turkey.
No.
It is technically right.
Technically correct, yes.
No, it's something to do with magnum opus.
Yep.
Keith.
Keith.
No.
Oh, too late.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, we all made bad guesses, and now it's your turn.
Oh, well, it's magnum opus.
Magnum Opus the Penguin from Bloom
Yeah.
County.
His name's just Opus, though, right?
No, his name is officially Opus.
Opus the Penguin.
Opus,
I couldn't think if he had a last name, so I was just like
Opus the
Magnum
Penguin.
Opus. And
Yeah, I knew magnum opus, and I couldn't go anywhere with it because I didn't have the second half.
There you go. Slaughterhouse 5 author mass-produced a holy book.
Keith.
Jim.
Kurt Vonnegut Bible.
Hey.
Berg
Jim
Bible.
Gutenberg Bible. That is correct. You had that one, didn't you? Jim?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
It's all right.
Famous American writer, witticist, and public intellectual grants Bill Murray total consciousness on his deathbed.
Anthony.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Salvador Dalai Lama.
Yeah. Oh.
Famous
No.
American writer, witticist, and public intellectual grants Bill Murray total consciousness on his deathbed.
Still get that going for
This
me.
game fucking over yet.
No, not yet.
Damn it.
You were there. You were right there, Anthony.
I couldn't think of the first name.
Famous American writer, witticist, and public intellectual, who, by the way, drank himself to death, grants Bill Murray total consciousness on his deathbed.
Well, Salvador Dali is not American.
No. Gore the Dalai Lama.
Uh,
Vidal.
This shit's way too highbrow for me.
12 more to go.
Drink a Scottish whiskey Manhattan and tell a shark to smile, you son of a bitch.
Oh my God. I know the back half. I just don't know the first half.
Anthony. Rob Roy Schneider.
That you know what? Because you said Schneider.
Oh,
Oh,
Pete.
God.
Pete.
Rob Roy Scheider.
Rob Roy Scheider. That is correct.
Rob Schneider was in that, wasn't he?
If he was in Jaws, I would shoot
Schneider's
myself
a
right
janitor. Schneider's a janitor, one day at a time.
All right, here. The cannibal from Milwaukee tries to win this board game about the second rock from the sun.
What the hell? What was it again? I forgot the first half.
The cannibal from Milwaukee tries to win this board game about the second rock from the sun. Keith.
Jeffrey Dahmer, Merchants of Venus.
There you go.
I had Jeffrey Dahmer and Venus and couldn't put the middle in forever.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be solves crimes with a millionaire and his wife.
Oh, wow.
It's a wrestling question, so you might not get it. It's a wrestling question. Keith.
Oh, shit.
Anthony.
Go.
No, that's not it.
Son of a bitch. I forgot the first name.
Anthony.
Is it Bret Heart to Heart?
Bret
Yes,
Hart
it
to Hart.
is. That is.
I forgot his first name.
I love
it took
that
me a
show,
second
Heart to
too.
Heart. I love
I
that
knew
show.
the Heart to Heart, and I knew the last name Hart. I just couldn't remember what it was. Brett.
This
I
is-
was looking at him in my head, and Jimmy Hart's name popped in my head. It just spread out.
This is Mrs.
See,
H.
I got
She's gorgeous.
I got stuck on
Gorgeous.
Mr. and Mrs. Howell.
Me,
Yeah.
I'm Max.
Me, I'm killing my wife and starting TV.
Just I'm Max. Because when they met, it was murder.
All right. Who besides me thought Stephanie Powers was hot?
Oh,
Come on.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I watched the crap out of
absolutely.
that show as a child that didn't even know what hot was.
Yeah. No, I remember I used to watch Heart to Heart with my dad, and my dad, being the curmudgeon that he was, he would always get so mad that a millionaire would like chase after crooks and race after them. He's like, why wouldn't he just yell out $10,000 to the man who stops him?
So apparently, their dad hated Batman.
He actually liked the campiness of like the original Batman. He enjoyed that part of it. I can remember sitting in my dad's basement after my parents got divorced, and he would let me know when Batman was on, because he and I loved to yell out the when they're fighting, the pow and the bang. We used to yell it out together. It's a good memory of my dad. He's a pretty cool guy.
I'm going to kill the shark. You can do it.
All right, here we go. Where was I? Okay. The blind piano player is the world's greatest telepath.
Anthony. Ray Charles Xavier.
Ray Charles Xavier.
Nice.
Nice.
Where was I? Okay, here.
You were done.
No.
Damn it.
Johnny Blaze sinks a birdie to send the Europeans home. Anthony.
Ghost Rider Cup.
Ghost Rider Cup. Look at Anthony. He's just like
He's the only one playing.
Machine.
he's
Yeah.
gonna who thinks he's gonna go 10-0 in initials? Me.
We can make that happen.
Fazzini has a battle of wits with the sexy boy of wrestling.
No idea.
Well, you know who Fazzini is, don't you?
Yes, but
Nope.
I didn't hear the second half of the question.
Fazzini has a battle of wits with the sexy boy of wrestling.
I don't know who the sexy boy of wrestling is.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to link the two.
The Heartbreak Kid.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable! The cliffs of insanity! I'm just gonna have to get myself a new giant.
I don't know how that ties into a wrestler.
The Heartbreak Kid of wrestling.
I know who that is. Oh, I know who that is.
He tag teamed with Marty Jannetty.
I know who that one is. I don't know. I can't remember Fazzini's real name.
Wallace Shawn Michaels. Wallace Shawn.
That's Shawn Michaels.
There you go. The original Commander Adama hunts for a murderer known for this river in Oregon.
David. Was it Lauren Greenway? Greenway Killer?
Well, I like where your head was at.
Lauren Greenway Killer?
Green River Killer. But
Green
yeah,
River Killer.
Green River Killer. Yeah. I think I have two left. Is everybody paying attention?
Anthony.
So here we go. All right. I want you to give Jim a chance, because I think he'll be able to get this one. Give Jim a chance.
I'm not that smart.
Well, listen. The Iron Fist works hard at making excellent maps.
Oh, I know this one, but I won't say it for Jim's sake.
Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's his name?
The Iron Fist works hard at making excellent maps.
Come on, Jim.
Come on, Jim. This is a toss-up.
I
I hate you, Jim.
can't remember his freaking name.
I
All
finally
right,
get one,
Pete.
and I can't answer it.
Pete,
Danny Randall McNally.
Nope.
Danny Rand.
Danny Rand McNally.
Danny Rand McNally.
Danny Rand McNally.
Daniel Rand McNally. And the last one.
So
I
all
also.
I could think of, I gotta say, all I could think of was Danny Millman.
Millman.
And that was not it.
All right.
Because he wrote the way of the Peaceful Warrior.
Danny Millman, Jewish Iron Fist.
All right. And once again, give Jim a chance in this one, please.
No.
Just give Jim a chance in this one.
No.
Anthony.
What?
Sam Waterston.
Sam Waterston of Bricks.
Incorrect.
Oh!
David Berkowitz hangs out with the assistant DA from Law and Order.
Anthony.
Sam Waterston.
You're already out. David Berkowitz hangs out with the assistant DA from Law and Order.
I almost yelled this out, by the way.
I know the first half, but I don't
know the
much
first
Law
half.
and Order.
Oh,
I know.
okay. Wait, can I tag team with Jim?
Yeah, you can tag team with
All
Jim.
right, Jim, you say the last word. Son of Sam.
Waterston.
Yeah! Woo!
I couldn't
was
remember
really close.
what's his name.
Those were my two
I knew it was
options.
Sam Waterston.
I do Son of Sam, so
All right, well, there you go. There's before and after. So thank
You know what? I think now that I love you guys as much as I hate you. So it's a nice balance.
Nice.
Wow.
Jim, if somebody wants to find out more about your upcoming game, where can they go?
SamWaterston.com.
They go. Yeah, there you go.
Back
I should
to
get
the
that.
Exchange Buchanan.
There's info coming out on BGG all the time, and there's info on deviousweasel.com. One thing I will tell you about it is we went to great lengths to make sure that every virtuoso, male, 3 female, and they are all 6 from different ethnic backgrounds. So,
Well, that's good.
going for the inclusionary team.
Well, I mean that's good. You mean, and kudos for taking the time and effort to do that.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for a wonderful evening. I have an early day tomorrow, so I'm going to have to head out. But I wish you all a wonderful,
Liar, we
fantastic
saw what
rest
was
of the
going
show.
on earlier. We know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw.
Say hello to your lovely wife for us.
I will. Ta-ta, darlings.
I'll talk to you later, bud.
And
I'm leaving too.
What?
Yeah, and I won't be on next week.
What?
F you, Barry.
F you.
Why not? What are you doing next week?
I'll be in Orlando.
What are you doing in Orlando?
We're going to Disneyland or Disney World for the week.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, what are you gonna get a lot of drugs to dope up and be okay, or what are you gonna do?
Pretty much.
Oh, I know.
Are you just going to sit drunk the whole time?
It's a possibility.
I mean, not that I mean, you're a smart guy and you can.
Hey, where are you staying?
I'm not talking. Apparently, that's
Arts
Okay.
animation.
Cool.
Have a good time, man. And like I said, and like do this and like lie and say it's your anniversary or something when you get there.
Okay.
Anniversary won't get you much.
Well, no, but they'll give you a little button and you'll get like certain stuff, or you can say it's your birthday or something like that. If you and then like they do treat you a little bit better, and it's weird.
it's
like
like your first time there. It's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already been through all this. We've been there quite a few times.
oh well, never mind.
Yeah, we've been there quite a few times.
We had 2 real cool things happen at Disney, but we didn't tell them anything for either one to happen. It was just pure luck of the draw both times.
Did you get to go to the secret restaurant?
No, we got to open the Magic Kingdom one day. The family up that rides in on the train with the characters when they open the park. So we got to do that. The family of the day, they call it. And the other time was we got family of the day at our resort, which gave us a free upgrade to the concierge suites. So that was cool.
How do you get to be family of the day?
Lady walks up when you're sitting there and says, "Are you here to go eat early?" Nope, we just are here too early. She's like, "You want to do something neat?" Sure. All right, come with me. And then they throw us in this little fire truck, took us to the back corner of the park, and Let us hang out with all the characters first, and the kids played in that area all by themselves, and then they threw us on the train and drove us to the front to wave at everybody from up on the balcony.
Huh.
Just one of those things. We just got selected because we were there. Sometimes they do it for people that have, make a wish and stuff like that. Other times it's just random chance. So just depends.
All right, I'll see you.
Interesting. Well, you take care, travel safe, and we'll talk soon.
All right, see you.
See you, Bear.
Bye, Barry.
Hi, Barry.
Barry.
Cool. So Keith, you gonna turbo these initials, or what are we doing here?
All right, let's turbo initial.
Turbo.
All right. So if you wanna, whatever, email, Twitter to the
Secret Cabal.
No, we're not gonna make that joke anymore because Anthony gets his feelings hurt. So we're going to just tweet it over at our good friend Anthony at the Cardboard Jungle, and then so we'll give everybody about so you can guess Anthony with 10 and have a pretty good shot.
10 out of 10. There are 10.
I'm going for 11.
10
And
plus
you'll
30.
find a way. He'll find a way to get to 11 and win. So
I'm writing the extra ones for Keith while he's doing the first ones.
Yeah, and I don't even have a tiebreaker. It's just 10 total.
We'll make it happen. What's the initials?
The initials tonight are EL.
E-L.
E-L. Everybody loves fudge. E.
Man, that one would have been a good one.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't work. Elmo.
All right, you guys ready? Turbo initials.
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, number 1 was a member of the McMaster Film Board where he met movie maker Ivan Reitman.
I'm out.
Has won 2 Primetime Emmy Awards and another 19 wins and 36 various award nominations. Has 103 actor, 15 writer, 5 producer, and 9 director credits.
Anthony.
Anthony?
Eugene Levy.
That is correct.
Oh,
That I feel stupid
That's-
for not guessing that.
well, first of all, that's cheap because it starts with an E, but you don't hear. E's silent.
Most probably known for his role as Noah.
Is this a new one, or are you?
No, that was the last one.
Oh, okay.
Number 2. Born October 15th, 1959.
Oh, and by the way, if you if tweets come in at like 10:29 or later, they're not going to count. So just remember that. You can't tweet in now and.
Well, they already assumed Anthony's 7 or so.
Well, yeah, I would. Why wouldn't they? Anthony with all of them. But
Okay.
anyway, what did you say? Something 1959.
Born October 15th, 1959.
69 or 59?
59. 5'9". Earned a scholarship as a percussionist to the New England Conservatory of Music. Succeeded Paul Prudhomme as the executive chef.
Anthony.
Anthony?
Emerald Lagasse.
That is correct.
Who?
Emerald
Emerald
Lagasse. Emerald.
Oh, I wouldn't. You could have asked me. The gun in my head, what his last name was. I wouldn't be able to get that to save my life. So anyway, whatever.
All right. Number 3.
Bunch of fucking cheaters.
Born in Corpus Christi, Texas in 1975. Received a Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology at nearby Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Won the title of Miss Corpus Christi USA. Pete?
Eva Longoria?
That is correct, Pete.
Wow.
Wrong. It's not Eva. It's Eva. He doesn't get it.
He gets it.
And
Her
that's
big
the
break
one
was on the
person I know with
CBS
EL.
daytime soap opera The Young and the Restless. Number 4. Born March 9th, 1951 in Brooklyn, New York. Is a practitioner of Taekwondo. Is mentioned as the Antichrist in the 1996 song Fire, Water, Burn by the Bloodhound Gang.
Blanks.
In a 2009 South Park episode, The F Word, he is the head editor of Webster's Dictionary.
Holy shit.
He stands at 4'3" tall.
Anthony.
Ah,
Anthony?
dang it!
Emmanuel Lewis.
Correct.
God damn it! I had it.
Emmanuel Lewis. I feel so stupid.
Oh, none
My
of
favorite
the
part of that one was the clue of head editor of Webster's Dictionary.
I feel so stupid.
God, I had it right when he said it. I was like, what? Oh, no.
Number 5. Born in 1972. Based in Toronto, Canada. Is known for giving bunny ears during photos.
Anthony.
Oh, god
Anthony?
damn it.
Kirk Lang.
God
That's
damn
correct.
it.
who?
Eric
Eric
Lang. Frickin' work with him. Stupid.
I would have never known.
Let's see. Anthony has 1, 2, 3, 4 to Pete's 1. So,
At least Anthony can't get them all. Thank you, Pete.
yes.
You're welcome.
Number 6. Born February 28th, 1973 in Ontario, Canada. Was selected first overall by the Quebec Nordiques in the 1991. Anthony.
Eric Lindros.
Correct.
You know, if you'd gotten to Philadelphia Flyers, I would have had a shot.
It would have eventually had Philadelphia.
Overrated hockey player ever.
All right. Anthony is officially locked in at this point, but we've got 3 more, so what the hell. Number 7, because now you're trying just to stop him from letting somebody win, is from Hollis, Queens, New York. Was part of an eccentric and deliberately enigmatic hip-hop collective called No Face. His real name is James Roberts. He co-starred in the film Who's the Man with Dr. Dre.
Anthony.
Oh, dang it!
Ed Lover.
Oh,
Anthony
God!
What?
Ed Lover.
Ed Lover.
come on, son.
I was going to call on you if Anthony had.
Unless you had said Joe MTV Raps, I never would have got that one either.
Yeah, MTV Raps
It was-
was giving it to me.
The next reference was going to be MTV. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
number 8. Born in 1971 in Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, Canada.
Damn, you were nationalist, don't you?
Yeah. Graduated from W.J. Watts Secondary School in Abbotsford, British Columbia, where they played soccer and was vice president of the student council. Spent some time in Middle Earth.
Anthony. Oh,
5.
forget it. Forget it.
All right. But is mostly known for being lost.
I know the answer now.
I know. I see his face. I can't remember his damn name.
Anthony.
No, you can't answer. You're out.
Barry.
I'll let Barry answer after 5. 5.
No. We,
3.
we still have another clue, don't we?
Yeah, there should be one more.
Another clue? All right.
right.
Let me fetch you another clue. I can fetch you another clue.
Okay, I'll give the clue. I'll give the clue.
No.
Hold on. Let me give something else because I forgot already. Also was featured in the film Ant-Man.
Barry.
No, you can't answer.
Jim.
No, stop it. I'm thinking.
He was in,
Oh my God.
he was in the Wolverine
No,
movie.
Lance.
He was in-
Lance?
Lily. Evangeline.
Fine, we'll give it to you. Evangeline Lilly.
Lily.
Yeah.
Number 9. That's a good thing this is turbo.
Well, and then the thing is,
Yes.
the Lost, all of a sudden that clicked in, and
Right. That was why I only went to that many clues.
yeah.
Attended St. Raymond Catholic School in Downey, California.
Oh, wait. Okay. Wait. Back to the other one.
Okay.
There was 2 people that could have been, and that's what threw me. I was thinking it was that. Is it Duncan? Who's the other guy that was on Lost, but it was also one of the Hobbits?
Oh, I don't know.
And he was in the Wolverine movie, the first Wolverine movie.
Dominic Monaghan.
Yes, that's who I was.
But
thinking.
his
Yeah,
on
but that
EL.
didn't start with
I know,
EL.
I couldn't remember his name. So,
Wait. Hold on. But he's been in Evangeline Lilly.
what?
He's been in Evangeline Lilly.
You don't know that.
They did it for 2 years. That's why they left the show. They broke up.
You know,
Yeah, they were an
just because
icon.
people date doesn't mean they do stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, true. Okay, number 9. Attended St. Raymond Catholic School in Downey, California. Owns a restaurant in South Tampa called Ducky's. Was selected as the
Yeah,
3rd
I
overall
couldn't
pick in the
What?
2000. Was
I'm
selected
sorry.
as the 3rd overall pick in the 2006 Major League Baseball draft.
Pete.
Pete.
Evan Longoria.
Correct, Pete.
Dang it! I was like, he would.
Pete's
go
got the
Evan
I'm a
Longoria.
Rays fan. It's the only reason I know it. I know the
Lance is over
restaurant.
there typing on his computer while this is going on. I'm calling him out on Google.
Well, no, sorry, I'm responding to somebody. So.
Last one, and I don't think even Anthony's going to get this one. Because
Oh,
this
that's
one's
a big
the
call.
obscure one.
Oh, well, let's all be quiet and let poor Anthony try to guess. Sure.
Born in Brooklyn, New York. Graduated magna cum laude with a degree in literature from NYU. Owns 610 Magnolia along with 2 other restaurants. In 2006 was one of the chef contestants on season 9 of Top Chef.
Ooh, I've
Chef
seen that.
Testants?
Oh, I know this. I know this one.
Has been nominated 4 times by the James Beard Foundation for Best Chef Southeast.
Pete.
Pete?
Ed Lee.
Correct, Pete.
What?
I watched Top Chef.
I watched Top Chef too. I used to anyway. Hey, I went obscure. I ran out of people with EL for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I started off good with a few good ones. I'm like, well, shit, I'm out.
Well, you know, the like real one that's held every Friday on the radio. They only have 12. They have 12, and they have 2 tiebreakers. And that's it. But they do 6 clues.
1, 2.
Yeah, but don't forget, you don't have to use people.
3.
It could be persons, places, or things.
Well, that's it. Everybody else always goes to the people. When I do it, I try to like make sure that I
6.
like have like weird stuff in there, you know, to make sure that
I tried to do so as well, and I literally was having trouble finding anything with E and L. But I was committed to 8 of them, and I'm like, well, shit. I'm not going to start over.
Wow, we're also surprised Anthony's going to do it next week.
So let's see. Anthony got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know what might make this better?
If
Is if
Anthony
we
doesn't
pick
play.
the initials the week before so people have some time to think.
But no, that's then everybody's going to have a list of, okay, this person was born on this day.
I
this
ain't got
person was
time
born
for
on
all
this
that.
day.
No,
So the
but,
final score: Anthony 6,
We have a
Pete
repeat
3,
winner.
Lance 1.
but it would be cool to like get the initials maybe like 15 minutes before the show. That way you actually have time to think it out.
Well, maybe if we gave them to everybody but Anthony.
That's even better. That's even better.
Anthony just has my password to
No, wait, no, I got an idea. When we play the game, Anthony only gets one initial.
After the first answer, though,
Yeah,
it would
first
give it
answer.
away.
I have to give middle names also.
I think we let Barry do the initials once, and his initials will of course be FY.
What I think of all of yous.
No, Barry's got 3 initials, right?
Yeah.
FYG.
Yeah, FYG.
Guys.
Fuck yous guys. Fuck yous guys again.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears. Everybody forgets that he got like 3 right the very first time ever.
Huh.
Yeah.
Those were hard letters. Well done. Well
Yeah,
done.
those are hard letters. I'm sitting here trying to think of other things you could have added to the list, and I'm drawing a blank.
I couldn't think of anything like with
I
those.
almost went with the company Earthlink, but I was like, oh, geez, nobody's going to get any clues on that shit. Because
That's the idea, though. You don't want us to get the clues. You want
I
to make
wanted
them
you
hard.
to get it eventually. I couldn't think of one that would actually put you over the top.
Yeah, I mean, I usually try when I have the initials. I usually try to I don't even think about people. I think about okay, can I come up with 3 places or companies or something with the same initials, and then you can fill in the rest with people. Because finding people is easy.
What if we gave Anthony a shock buzzer? So in order to answer, he had to touch something that was going to shock the shit out of him before he could. Right? So he's going to think twice about it.
You know what? That's fine. He can win, and then eventually, if and when somebody actually defeats him, it'll be that much more glorious because we've won, fair and square. So
I almost cheated on one and pulled in a game, but it's 1 word and not 2 words, and I figured that wouldn't have been right.
That would have been right. That would have been like a Lance clue.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to pull in Elephant Land. But
my clues are clever, and
but if we had done your clues, you would have said, no, that's not right.
Yeah, David always wants to call me out on my clues, saying that they're incorrect or something. It's just whatever.
There's
The
a
sad
couple
thing is
times
I
you
wanted to
pulled
do.
some really crossing that gray line of whether or not that, but I'd only say 1 or 2 clues out of each time you do it.
The dental hygienist one tonight was a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Lizzie,
The
board
what?
dental hygienist was awesome, and you know it. But yeah.
But I mean, it was 3 p.m. today, and he's like, "Oh, does Keith have initials?" And I went, "Shit, no, I better do it right now." So I'm sitting at work with Google and putting together initials.
That was hard because I could think of lots of E names and I could think of lots of L names, but I couldn't think of the 2 together.
Yeah, I mean, hell, 2 of them were the same name with 1 letter difference.
Everything I wrote down was a clue. So that was.
Well, that was good. It was good. Good job, Anthony.
Yes, well done.
Yes.
That shows your superiority when you can dominate a category that nobody else can even think of anything in.
But Pete did well as the runner-up with 3. I'll give him that.
Well, I got lucky that I watched Top Chef, and then I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan. I got
both Longorius.
Yeah, I got both Longorias. And the only reason I got her is because of all the jokes Evan Longoria would get about people in Boston would always chant Eva Longoria when he got up to bat. That's the only reason I even got that one.
Nice. That makes for a good story, though.
Well, we knew
Yeah.
you were a fan. He called her Eva.
All right, so I'm doing initials next week.
Yes.
Yep.
All
That way I get to win again.
I won once when he did it.
Yeah, I wasn't
he
there.
wasn't here.
Hate you guys.
I know.
It was my idea. And usurped.
It's
It
my
wasn't your
show.
idea. It was the radio show's idea. You usurped from
Yeah,
them.
and the other thing I wonder is does Anthony go to bed and take a nap before we do this? Because he's always so fresh and energetic, and the rest of us are worn down and tired.
I think Anthony just processes completely useless fucking information really quickly.
Gotta be
All right,
something.
So I watched Jeopardy tonight at 7 o'clock. I usually watch it every night. And I think I got 2 questions wrong tonight. I was on a roll today.
One of those was barely wrong.
No, one of them I didn't even guess.
Barely.
Like close.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, that is like in the movie Groundhog's Day, which is awesome.
I love Groundhog's Day.
It is.
That is one of my favorite scenes is when he's eating the popcorn and drinking the Jack Daniels and watching probably like the Jeopardy show that he's seen like 100 times before.
Knows every
And
answer.
when he just slowly looks and turns and looks at the lady next to him while he's still reading the question, what is the road? And then, boom, what is the road? Correct. And then they all applaud him. Oh, well done. Takes a pull off the bottle of Jack Daniels. Bathrobe on, big giant bowl of popcorn in his lap.
I would have turned into such a horrible person if I was the one stuck in that loop.
Well,
All he did was punch a couple of guys. I would have been way worse.
well, yeah, but what if the one time you actually like
the
slaughter?
day that you actually break the curse?
Yeah, you slaughter the town, and all of a sudden, yeah, you come out of the curse, and you're surrounded by blood. Yeah, so I think.
Well, shit.
yeah. I mean, you might be able to get an insanity plea or whatever on that.
Oh, you
one.
could definitely get an insanity.
The other line I like a lot was when he's sitting there getting drunk with those two guys at the bowling alley, and he's like, I went to Jamaica once. I met a girl there. During the day, we drank margaritas. At night, we made love like sea otters. That was a pretty good day. Why couldn't I have that day over and over again? It's like we ate lobster on the beach and drank margaritas. At night, we made love like sea otters. Just like,
That
good
is
stuff.
that's it. That's one of those movies that just never gets old for me. I really like it.
Oh, I've seen it many, many times over.
Pete, how's your game doing?
Good. It's sitting at about 64,900, so about $100 away from another stretch goal, and 6 days to go. So we still haven't even hit that big flux of the 48-hour backers popping in. So doing well. Very, very happy with it.
Cool.
Awesome. 1,300. Yeah, that's a lot of backers. Nice.
Yeah, I'm very happy. You never know what to expect when you get into a campaign like this. I'm quite pleased. The feedback has been really good, and the response from people on BGG and in the comment section, it hasn't been nearly as volatile a Kickstarter as I've seen. So I'm very happy about that too. I wasn't sure how I was going to react to that being first time on Kickstarter. So
right.
So random question that might have nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. So somebody suggested to me that I look into I'm always looking for different RPGs and things like that, and somebody suggested that I look into the One Ring RPG, which is of course based on the Hobbit, and well, it's actually like after everything, like it's before Lord of the Rings, but after the Hobbit, so that's the whole. So it's in that little thing where like the Battle of Five Armies is over and whatever. But so I was looking into it, and I'm thinking about tracking down a copy of the core rule book and just checking it out. But I'm just thinking in the back of my head, how do you have a role playing game and have it in this world where everybody kind of knows the story, and it's just like, so I mean, I'm having trouble buying into it, I guess.
I've heard good things about that One Ring story, the One Ring campaign. One of my friends, Paul Butler, works on that with Cubicle 7, and my friends have been playing it for like a couple of years now. They've been running a One Ring campaign at conventions, and they love it. They say it's fantastic. It runs parallel to the story, and your small portion of the story doesn't affect the overall story, but gives you a little feeling of being part of that universe. It's a cool thing the way they do it. I'm actually would be interested in playing that. It seems really cool, and Paul's doing really good work with them, so they're getting a lot of good buzz.
I mean, is that any different than the old ICE Middle Earth role-playing game?
Well, I remember playing Middle Earth role-playing, but we just transported the whole thing and just said it wasn't in the Hobbit when we did it. We just said okay because we really liked the weapon system and everything for it.
It's
So it was pretty cool.
the One Ring campaign kind of reminds me of that that video game that came out a while back based on Lord of the Rings. It was Age of something where you actually played like a character in the Lord of the Rings world, but you were doing things that aided the adventure, but you weren't actually participating in it. I wish you could remember the name of that video game, but
Like Shadows of Mordor or a different one?
no, older than that. It was Third Age, I think it was called. The video game was called.
Yeah.
And you played like a generic hero, but your party would do things, and you'd every once in a while you would interact with people from the Fellowship, but it was never a major thing, and you would see what they do based on the things you did. It would affect their success. So their campaign went on the way the books read, but you did your quests actually aided them in some way so that when they got to do what they needed to do, they could do it. And it was just kind of that kind of parallel to the main story without interfering with it was kind of a neat idea. So that's why I think One Ring would be pretty cool to play.
All right, guys, I'm heading out. I got my girlfriend's having surgery on Friday, and I want to spend some time with her before she's laid up for a few weeks. And
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's fine. We just some stuff that's got to be done. So we're doing that, and not only that, but I've been on my feet all day at these retail stores, so my back is killing me. So I'm gonna head out and
Night.
All right, man.
Night,
Get some
David.
rest and take care and what have
See you
you.
next week.
I'll see you next week.
All right, take care, guys.
Good night.
See ya.
Good night, David.
But
So, Lance, let's going back on your thing about the One Ring.
yeah,
So, do you play war games at all?
I say that again. I'm not trying to be a jackass. You got garbled there at the very end. So
Do you play war games at all?
war games at all?
Board games.
War. W-A-R.
WAR war. Okay, so yes, I occasionally play games in the war genre.
Okay, so and you're playing them based on actual real life events. And
I tend to actually play the ones that are like well, I mean, I know where you're going with this. So, and yes, it's like, okay, you do D-Day and the Germans win. It doesn't mean that like the Germans actually win or something.
No. It's because you're putting yourself in a situation. Could you do it better than the way it actually plays out?
Yeah, but that's a very deterministic thing. War games are, but like in a role-playing game, it's just kind of like, so it's like you're creating this like world or adventure or whatever. So it's, I mean, I don't know. I'd really like to just have a book to look over and read and see if I like the system before. Like I almost like somebody was like, oh, this one, I forget what the name of it is. Some role playing game. They're like, oh, this one's awesome. You got to check this out. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll take a look at this. And then I was this close to like ordering the core rule book, and I was like, I don't really just dive it because I was like the idea of the setting was good and everything like that. And then I looked into it, and it was just like, you use a deck of cards to determine everything in this game. You don't roll dice. And I was like, okay, I'm out. I mean, and I realized the game might be awesome, and they probably have a really good process of using a deck of cards to do it, but like. For me, if I'm going to play a role-playing game, I need to roll dice. I need to have the clattering of a d20 on a board or something to help me determine, who wins and loses. That's just me. I'm crazy, but that's so. I'm always like, let's look what we got for the process, the mechanisms, and then go from there.
So I guess you've never played Dread.
Which?
Dread?
If I've heard of it, I've forgotten what it is.
All right, so Dread is the RPG game that all the outcomes of everything are determined with the Jenga tower.
No.
What?
So everything you want to do in the game, your success or failure is based on pulling pieces out of a Jenga tower. It's one of those games where you would need to have the right GM running that game. because it can be so much fun. It's hysterical. But literally, you at some point, because the game ramps up. So in the beginning, it's horror themed somewhat, but like in a horror movie, the tension builds up. So as everything you do, you pull out, you pull something out. So in the beginning, you play Jenga. It's easy to pull pieces out. Towards the end, it gets tougher and tougher. It's just fun. It's just stupid fun. It's not like a big system in there, but it's a different way of doing results of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, but see, then this is one of those things where I always, well, fine, I'll talk RPGs for a little bit. This is one of those things where I end up having issues with, because, okay, so you have a Jenga tower. So what if you have somebody that like, they just don't have really good manual dexterity, or their hands shake or something like that? I mean, already, they're not going to play it as well as somebody else because of the fact that they just don't have the same ability, whereas if you roll a die and you randomly determine something, then everybody's got the same. So, and then this, once again, it's like one of those things where you have, I run into this problem a lot between situations. So I'm a big believer that, like, if you as a player, like, are smart and you describe to me how you want to evade a trap, and you actually kind of like talk about it, like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the door and I'm going to open it like 6 inches. And then what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to take, my, the pole, and I'm going to lightly tap this, and, and you describe it to me pretty in depth. And I determined, that would actually set the trap off and nobody would get hurt because the blade wouldn't hit anybody, and you'd be okay. You'd be good to go. And I'll say, no, you don't have to bother rolling a die. You were smart and you figured that out. And I don't like the whole process of, like, I'm going to look for traps, and then you roll a 20. It's just like, talk about a game breaker, as far as, like, the immersion level that I have, if, like, and the same thing goes for, like, somebody who says to me, like, they're playing a game and it's just like they want to know more about, like, some like monster that they can't defeat. They ran into something, and, like, and if they say to me, it's like, you know what, actually, like, when I believe that my character would have studied something like this when they were being brought up, in the cathedral, by those monks in this area. And if they can come up with a really good story, or really, yeah, okay, fine. You've heard about this. Somebody gave a lecture about it and you found out about it. And then, like, by the same regard, you're like, oh, I'm going to roll on my monster knowledge. Oh, I got a 16. What do I know? It's just like, it's just that once again, it breaks that immersion. So it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm going to stop and I'm going to, like, okay, well, let's go over to the Jenga tower and, and see, it all of a sudden, that's like, the Jenga thing is going to be, I already also have too many people that just want to stack their dice while they play and not pay attention to what's going on. And I don't know, maybe I look back at my early D&D years with a little more, with rose-colored glasses. It probably was horrible back then too, but I just don't remember. I just remember it being way better before people. I had to, like, basically institute you can't bring your laptop and use it to like have the rules on it, because people invariably would just be either cruising the web or like playing games on their laptop while we were playing D&D, and I would just be like, bring the books. You get to have books in front of you now. No more, it's like you can print off your character sheet and you can bring your character sheet with you. I'll even hold on to them for you. I don't know. I take my role playing pretty seriously. Probably way too seriously than I should. But I don't know. It bugs me when there's stuff that, like, break, the fourth wall and stuff like that. I don't know. There. I aired a grievance. I just, yes, playing games is for having fun and being around your buddies and having a good time. But, like, if you have a situation where it's just like, you're only, coming to briefly to, like, tell somebody that, is it my turn to swing my axe? Okay. And then you go right back to your phone or something like that. I mean, why are you even here? Why did you even bother? Yeah, I just I don't know. But then again, if that's how they're going to enjoy their time or something like that, who am I to tell them they shouldn't enjoy their time that way? I just,
Well, it depends. Are they ruining everybody else's time in doing so?
I don't know. Did you guys see that? Like, Wormwood put up like this super sweet looking DM screen for made out of these like wooden planks that have like all they have dice towers and like cabinets and all this stuff. I was looking at it and I was like, literally like it's on Kickstarter and I was just
that thing's cool as hell.
Isn't it super expensive though?
I'm sure it is because it's Wormwood.
I was sitting there and I was pricing it out, trying to, and then I was like, why would I even think about spending like $400 on this? So it's just like,
it's super neat, but you'd have to play like every week to get your money's worth.
I do play D&D every 2 weeks, unless there's something, unless I'm like out of town or something like that. So, but if you go to, and I have, they're not paying me any money or anything like that. This is just me. I check this out. I know Anthony checks Kickstarter all the time to see if there's any cool stuff. I go on there to see if there's any new role-playing games. And that's I look and see if I can find anything cool as far as role-playing games go. But like you have like this modular system that like you can have like multiple dice towers. The dice towers have a bevel that you can keep that, you can make the dice roll behind the dice tower or out in front of everybody, depending on how you want. Like there's like a swivel thing where it's like, so like you can have a map that you could write something on.
That's the neatest thing in all of it is that spinning panel in the middle that
and then you spin it around and like, so then you can show everybody, okay, this is what you see, kind of thing.
Right. And then you rotate it over. It's like a whiteboard that you can draw something on, spin it around, show them, and then if they don't write it down, well, they don't remember because they didn't look at it.
Yeah, and so it's just like, so I was like, okay, so I don't need it. I was like telling myself, I don't need it to look really nice. I don't need it to like, So I was like, I won't like go with like the like super rosewood or anything like that. And I was like, okay, so 2 outside panels, that's $100. The rotational panel, that's $75.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty expensive.
Here we go. It's $720 for the plain red oak one. So that's with the 2 regular panels that you can slide the stuff into, the rack on top to hold like cards to put like fighting order, the dual-sided dice tower, so you can either roll it towards yourself or towards your players, and then the stack with the 4 drawers. That comes out to $720 in red oak.
Yeah,
sure. That seems reasonable.
And the red oak is more expensive. You can get just like straight.
No, that's the lowest one they have.
It's the cheapest price. It's the cheapest price.
Red oak is and then next up is cherry, and then black walnut, then wenge, and Bolivian rosewood.
Ooh.
Purple heart.
Just that little bitty chest with the drawers in it is $600 in the rosewood.
It's and the purple heart, it's $900.
$900. Holy jeez. Hey, you can get a Lazy Susan or something looking for it.
Well, okay, so you could have, so you could go the rotational panel, $75, and you can get the 2 on the outside. So that's $175 right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't, the chest of holding, it looks super cool, but you'd want the drawers, right?
Or you just go find a local craftsman that can probably make that exact thing with the pictures you show them for like $200. Yep. And it may not be as fancy, and it may not have the cool stained grain and all that, but it'll probably be just as functional, and it'll probably still look decent, and you'll be helping out local business.
Yeah, it's not fair that this is so expensive.
It's the same thing with like game tables, right? You can go to Geek Chic and spend $8,000 on the game table, but you can probably find someone local who can make a table that's just as efficient and works as good without all the bells and whistles or curved, arched pedestal feet and stuff for like 1/10 of the price.
Yeah.
Kevin Berkey, he's got a couple of prototypes that he's made. Like he just made it like, it's called a table topper, which like basically it's like it's the top of a gaming table that you can actually like it folds and it looks nice. He'll have to come on sometime and talk about it, but it just goes right on top of the table, and it's still it's raised up a little bit. You've got like the spots for drink trays, everything. It's really nice. He's thinking about trying to mass produce it. He's like, which I think he'd have a good market for it. No, I mean, like if you look at like admittedly, not everybody is really handy or has the time or has the wherewithal to want to put together a gaming table, but it's not really all that difficult, actually. There's several how-to videos on how to make them online. There's lots of different plans. I mean, you'll spend about $350 on lumber, and it'll take you a couple of days, and then you can go with however like detailed you want to go. But there's something to be said for just like saying, you know what, I don't want to spend all this time. I just want a table.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I may be spoiled because I'm in South Carolina and there's a lot of furniture companies and mom and pop shops that have woodworkers and stuff. I found it very, very cost effective to just go local and ask someone to build you something. 9 out of 10 times it comes out to be way less than half the cost of what I would try to order online for any custom woodworking stuff.
And it'll be done faster.
And it'll be done faster, right? You don't have to get on a 12-month waiting list. You're like for Geek Chic or for some of these Kickstarters that are gonna, you give it to a woodworker and he's like, okay, I'll get back to you in 2-3 weeks and I'll have it done. I'm saying if you want something that cool, I bet you could have it made for less than $300, guaranteed. The whole thing, whatever color you want. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I always like it seems like Wormwood's at every single convention that I go to, and I always like walk by their thing, and it's just like, and I always say, why would I spend this? This is ridiculous.
You're paying for the name, just like Geek Chic. They're like the Geek Chic of accessories, and that's all you're paying for. Because look at places like Carolina Game Tables and BoardGameTables.com. They're putting out quality game tables for like $1,500 to $2,000 that just don't have the Geek Chic name on them. And the Geek Chic cheapest table is like $2,500, and that's basically nothing. It's like a coffee table. So you're just paying for name.
Well, then, and ultimately, what it is more than anything is like, then I always sit there and think, well, maybe I'd buy this. Maybe I get this, and then I'd say to myself, I have like a $10 dice tray at home, and it works just fine.
Well, that's what I said. I'm sitting here right now at my game table, and I got the table and 4 chairs for $200, and it works perfectly fine.
Does the board lay flat on it?
Yeah.
Do the chairs park your butt just fine?
The chairs are cushioned. I sit in them all the time. And they hold me, and I have a 3-foot by 4-foot table. I have one of those quiver game mats on it right now, but it's like I spent $200 on it, brand new.
Yeah, I agree. I don't pay for name anymore. I wanted a Geek Chic table. I told my wife like 6 years ago I want a Geek Chic table, and when I got my basement, I went straight to Board Game Tables and Carolina Game Tables. I spent about $2,000. I got 2 game tables coming, and I wouldn't even be able to get a coffee table at Geek Chic for that much. Oh. And they're going to be, and it's a 4x6 and a 3x5 gaming table with all the bells and whistles. It's not worth paying for the name.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do make nice stuff. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that, but.
It's gorgeous stuff, but it's absolutely unnecessary.
It's for the high-end user.
Income, right?
Here's the thing about Geek Chic. So Geek Chic is kind of like Mercedes or any of these companies. The stuff that they make that you want that's the best quality is the stuff that's like that emissary table they make with all the drawers and stuff that's come out. Those things are if I was going to spend the money on a table, I want one of those. Mm-hmm. But like their table, like I said, their low-end table, their basic table, it's still $2,000. It's nowhere near $2,000. I used to work in sporting goods, and at the time, like Prince tennis rackets were like the biggest thing. And Prince used to make a racket that was like $40, and then they made one that was $400. and they'd sell a ton of the $40 ones because people wanted the name. And I'm like, would you buy a Mercedes that costs less than the Toyota? They're like, well, no. I said, exactly. It's not the same quality. It's the same name. It's not the same quality. So that's why I'm like, that's how they get you. It's like, oh, I have a Geek Chic table. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look like anything. Because you got the one that was $2,000. But, I could have went to the store down the street and bought 2 or 3 tables that work just as well.
Speaking of Geek Chic, did they abandon that club thing they were doing?
Yeah, that's
I thought so.
Well, they weren't even at
I wanted to
Origins
see if my
last year, were
prediction
they?
came true.
Yeah, I don't even think they were at Origins last year where they did that big club thing on the second floor. I don't think they did that.
No, board gaming tables or whatever were there.
Yeah,
instead.
I think a lot of other there's a lot more market now. There's a lot more competition.
And also
in
at
premier game
BGG,
tables.
they were swapped out by BoardGameTables.com.
Yep.
As well.
And BoardGameTables.com looks like that Duchess was one of the first tables I bought. $800 with a topper and everything. I got to see it at the convention. It looks just as good. I mean, yeah, granted, it's not going to be as not going to be any carved details in it, but it is a perfectly good-looking game table for less than $900. Shipped, less than $900.
Just answering some questions in the old chat here. I have not received my Lazy Susans, so no. But as soon as I do, I'll let everybody know. And then Javi, I am going on my fishing trip in Canada in the summer. Not until it would be very, very cold to go fishing in Canada right now. Even colder than I am now. So there you go. Just a couple quick answers. But thank you for keeping up with my life. That's really nice of you guys.
So the other thing that they talked about was the $100 snags to transport games in. They were talking about in the chat.
The which one? What?
All these game carrying bags that are coming out.
Yeah, I suckered in and bought one of them.
Best one I ever bought was that Chrono bag that's like $19.99. It's like an amplifier bag.
I just got 5 of them for $100.
Those things are great, dude. I bought one of those, and it's the only thing I use. It's padded. It's perfect for carrying board games, and it's $19.99. Can't beat it.
Yeah, I bought it on the Game Canopy.
Chromecast or whatever.
And I totally wouldn't have bought it had I known I was getting this house. Because I never hosted game night. I always went to somebody else's. So I was always hauling a ton of games. I'm like, that looks good, but then I bought a house and I don't even need it, and I don't even have the bag yet. So I see that being my Gen Con vendor hall bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm looking forward to seeing the Game Canopy. It seems like we've been waiting forever for it. So, we haven't done that for a while. What's the Kickstarter you've waited longest for fulfillment?
Oh, geez. Now I got a couple of them this week, so I don't have to take.
Well, yeah, I got 2 of my.
Oh, mine would be
oldest
Arcadia
ones in the
Quest
past
and
couple
Bruno.
weeks.
Oh, sorry.
Oh man, that sucks.
It sucks. I got mine. So
I'm just kidding. In the business.
Let me take a look here. Oh yeah, yours isn't going to be ready for at least another 2 months now. Wait a minute. Oh, 3 months now. Now 3 months.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's part of the Kickstarter account.
let me look. I think my oldest one is the Seventh Continent.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that one too.
Yep, Seventh Continent's my oldest.
My oldest it's just Reaper Bones 3 because they had a massive F up with that one because they basically it was one of those things where somebody emailed, somebody asked for an answer, and then they emailed back with an answer, and then they assumed that, oh, okay, so you're going to start working on that, and then so it just sat there for like 3 months, and finally somebody's like, well, where's this stuff? And they're like, well, we're still waiting to hear back from you. They're like, oh, crap.
So what's the interesting thing is only 2 of mine that are the oldest are actually late.
Yeah, Lazy Gamer is late, but everybody knows it was going to be super late because that they've just had a ton of problems ever since they funded and went. And most people are being pretty patient. Sword and Sorcery is late. That one just seems to just be languishing, and just nobody knows anything of what's going on with that one. Let's see here, going further back. I'm pretty lucky actually with a lot of my stuff is that it's been just fine. Nemo's War, second edition. Let's see. Masmora, but I got Masmora. Woo!
I got Masmora. It's okay.
I have yet to play it. I really want to.
Arcadia Quest is way better. But
March of the Ants, I'm still waiting on the expansion. This War of Mine, I get the feeling that's going to be forever and a day before we ever see that. The Game Canopy, Rum and Bones, Second Tide.
That's mine. That's the one that I'm. That's the latest one is from and Bones. But I've gotten the core box already, just not the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. Near and Far, some RPG stuff.
I'm looking forward to Near and Far. I played Above and Below tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most of my stuff, it's like a little bit late, but the stuff but it's not like late and like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get it kind of thing.
Right.
Everything I've got outstanding is from someone who's reputable that will deliver.
I'm good.
Really?
Yeah, I mean the only things I'm missing right now, is Anachrony coming in the next week or so, and Yokohama.
Yeah, I'm waiting on
coming
Yokohama
in March.
Yep.
And then I just backed Tramways big expansion.
Airplanes. I'm waiting on that too. Airplanes or airplane.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've got there's a lot of RPG stuff, but RPGs are so random because they're like, it's like a guy working out of his basement, trying to write it. So you just kind of, and they're usually cheap. It's like, okay, here's $17, get me that module sometime in the next 2 years. It's more just for me, it's like trying to support people to do that sort of thing and to keep, certain RPGs alive and rolling than it is. But the funny, and also if you back those, you then get to be part of the they're like, because they're the ones that come unhinged a lot more when people call them out. So then you get like some pretty interesting discussions and arguments that they have in regards to things. So I don't know. It's yeah, good stuff. Did you guys back Lisboa?
No.
I didn't.
Why not?
I'm going to get the game when it comes out, but I backed Gallerist and I backed Vinos Deluxe, and there's no reason to back any of those projects from them because everything that's available as part of the Kickstarter project is available after, and it costs just about the same amount.
Yeah, but you support the company.
Who am I supporting?
You're supporting the company. You're supporting the game. You're supporting the
company.
Enough people have backed it. Well, it's funded. Why do I have to give them my money now? Why do I have to give them my money to hold for 9 months? At least I'll give it to the company, even to the company who makes money, if they're giving me something for it.
Right. See, if you buy it on the Kickstarter, all the money goes to the company. But if you're not getting anything extra, then why not just buy it from your friendly local game store so that they get their money and the company still gets their money, just not quite as much.
Right.
Or
and
why don't I just buy it from Cool Stuff and save myself $30?
Or get it even cheaper, yeah.
Well, you're not going to save that much on Cool Stuff from them. But like, for example, the Gallerists, I mean, literally what the Kickstarter backers got extra, I still have sitting sealed because it doesn't add anything to the game. There's a different graphic on the bag. Ooh. There's some blank tiles. Ooh. And
hey, some people care about that.
And there's some alternate art, which it's not any different. It's just alternate art on some tiles. That's it. That's all the extra. And you got you got an extra easel to put the final scoring thing on. Ooh. But they sell all of that extra stuff. You can buy it on Cool Stuff. And if you put it all together, it comes out to about the same that you pay it on the Kickstarter, and you don't pay shipping because you're gonna end up being over $100 on your order. I want the game. It was in my most anticipated games of the year, but I refuse to back it. There's no reason to give them any money for it.
You're very salty.
What? What did you say? I didn't hear you.
He said you were very salty,
You're very salty.
like a Pringles potato chip.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's only one side of a Pringles potato chip.
Mm.
Because they're only salted on one side.
Oh, jeez.
See, he knows fucking everything. He drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You don't know that about Pringles?
No.
Okay,
No, I
so
don't.
depending on how you put the Pringle in your mouth is how they taste different. Because they're only salted
I've been
on
telling
one
your
side.
wife the same thing.
Why do you have to bring my wife into it?
It's just because I'm trying to have fun with you. Jeez.
Why do you have to go there? Do I bring your wife into these things?
Sure, go ahead.
Do I sully the sanctity of your marriage?
I will quote I will quote comedian, rest in peace. Greg Giraldo, and he's like, the sanctity of marriage. Really? Hands up in the crowd. How do people feel like your relationship with your wife has been sanctified by God? He's like, but yes. No, your wife seems to be a lovely woman who puts you in your place, which I appreciate about her a great deal.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, what's up?
Is Simon bringing Lorenzo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Are you bringing over Lorenzo and leaving it the way it is?
I don't know because
Okay.
I won't. I'm not involved in production conversations, so it'll be a surprise to me. Just like when Potion Explosion got over, I didn't know anything about any changes that were made. In Usual Suspects, we did some changes. Potion Explosion was pretty much the same, so I don't really know what direction they'll go with it. If it'll be just the same one in a U.S. English first version, or if it will have any changes to it.
All right.
Yeah,
I know Council of 4 got some art changes and stuff, so
Yeah, I mean, if we haven't posted anything, then there's a good chance that it will be just what you would expect to get from the European version, only an English first version.
okie doke.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a very
gonna buy
good
the
game.
crap out of that.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. I can't wait to play it because everyone keeps asking me about it, so there must be some hype to it.
Because I have a copy and it's quite good.
I keep sitting on the bubble thinking about buying the Princess Bride game from you guys. Raise Your Goblins.
Raise Your Goblets? Yeah, I like that game. It's actually quite fun.
I like it. It's a lot of fun. I just can't decide if I need to own it. Sometimes you hit those, right?
Yeah,
Fun, but will I find the right group to play with, or
it's
is
like
it one I'll
Imperial
just
Assault.
check out at it? Right.
I think Imperial Assault's an amazing game, and I own it all, but now I'm starting to wonder if I should have bought it because I never get to play it 'cause it's too long of a game.
All right. I'm looking forward to playing that one with the app when it comes out. So
That may be
that'll
what
save
gets it
for
on
me.
the table. The app
Yep.
may be what gets it on the table because I don't need as many people at that point. I can play with
Right.
lower people. Same with this is the same reason I haven't just pulled the trigger on Gloomhaven or not. I just don't know if I'll ever if I get that game and play 20 hours of it, I feel like I've wasted my money.
Right.
Even though 20 hours is a lot of gameplay, it's not even scratching the surface for a game like that. And I feel like I don't think I would get 180 hours worth out of it.
Right. And I think Goblets is a great game for playing at a con or like maybe even at work with casual people. That's what I really like about it.
Yeah, party kind of game. It's almost a party game, but with a little more depth.
So last week, I actually at work, last Friday, we had kind of a slow day because our SAP system was down, which meant my group couldn't do squat while we were doing a transition to a new system. And so I said, you know what, let's bring in lunch and then we'll do team building. So I booked like 2 hours in the conference room and I played Mysterium with them where I ran the ghost and just threw 6, investigators out there, but didn't play with just 6 people. We had like 10 people. and played it, where we just spread them out and played it fully cooperative. And everybody in that room got engaged and into that game. And it actually did really good team building because everybody was working together, right? Because they're trying to solve that puzzle, and it was very intuitive and easy for them, no complexity for them to learn. So that was a really good experience. If anybody ever has the opportunity to try something like that, I recommend it. It teaches people to listen and look for clues, so it was really good for what my people do for a job.
Cool.
Pretty neat.
Good stuff. Yeah. No, when I still worked at the bank, I got people to play like games like that a few times. They were pretty, and they got them up off their out of their cubes and tried to show them something interesting, which was relatively successful as well. So I don't know. But I don't miss working at that bank. I don't miss that at all.
I imagine not.
Not even a little. I think we're gonna go. I've got to make up my mind if I'm gonna go to BGG Con or I'm gonna go to PAX Unplugged.
BGG
We're
Con.
doing BGG Con. We're gonna wait and see approach, and we're gonna see how it does this year, and then maybe decide on it next year.
We're gonna do both, and so
you are going to BGG Con, sir.
They have flat out asked me to be the person in charge of PAX Unplugged. So, and I think
I will miss you.
Well, I know I'll go, and if I end up going there, I will definitely miss a lot of people, and I will be sad.
You can go to the one with your
Battling
friends
Tops.
or go to a bunch of randos.
You're gonna miss battling tops.
Yep, I will definitely miss a lot of people, but there will be something cool about being at the first ever PAX Unplugged. So
Sure. It'll be interesting.
And
It's in Philadelphia for one.
Yeah, it's in Philadelphia. B, it's competing with BGG Con, and C, 80% of the industry doesn't have enough staff to split up, so you're going to be there with very few people, very few industry people. I'll say the con itself may do well, but there won't be a lot of.
It'll be like us, and we did this together.
Well,
other people.
I'll tell you why he was going to go to PAX, because since all the real cool people will be at BGG, he'll be the biggest fucking deal.
He'll be
there.
the coolest leftovers. Yep.
God.
He'll walk around with his chest puffed out in his camo cargo shorts.
He may even ask him to do a panel or something.
Knock my camo cargo shorts. Those things are badass.
They will probably ask you to do a panel and be a guest of honor.
He'll say, "I'm the undead Viking," and
I'll get
up.
Media star Lance the Undead Viking.
Okay. Laugh it up. Enjoy your fun.
Well, at least you'll have good cheesesteaks there.
Well, yeah, and maybe
we'll have hard eight.
Maybe Barry will go to that one, so I can hang out with Barry.
Yeah, and you can pay a 1.5 cents per ounce soda tax while you're there.
What?
Philadelphia put in a sweetened beverage tax. Anything that has a sweetener in it has a tax of 1.5 cents per ounce.
Why?
So you buy a gallon jug of tea, it costs you an extra like $3 just in tax.
Why is that?
That's a new law they put in place in Philadelphia.
That seems really.
I saw it on Twitter. Like a 12-pack of soda is like $9.
South Carolina has extremely high prices, not for bottles and not for 2 liters, but their can prices are like double. It's like I can get a 2 liter for like $1.50 or $1.80, which is probably about on par with the rest of the country. But a 12-pack of Coke is like $5.99, and I'm like, okay, so I can just buy 2 liters for like $4 or $3.50 and get, instead of a 12-pack of soda for $5.99, $6. It's ridiculous. In Florida, that same 12-pack would cost like $2.50, $3.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if the drinks have artificial or sugar. It's sweetened beverages, period, across the board. So, like, if you buy almond milk, which is normally not even a taxable item because you have a lactose allergy or something, nope, you're paying 1.5 cents per ounce for that almond milk. It's insane. But
Yeah, it seems almost arbitrary. Well, I suppose it's one of those things where it's like, well, if you drink a lot of soda, you are in bad health, and therefore you're costing us more money because you're going to go to the hospital more often or something.
right, they're using it for programs, et cetera, and so forth. But it's one of those things that's one where the government imposes it on the people. But whatever. But my
Hey,
parent
you said you didn't want
company's
to
in
talk-
Philly. That's why I changed the subject. My parent company's in Philly.
Politics.
That's why I hear about it.
How dare you?
Yeah, I gotta get
Yeah.
some sleep, guys. It's
I do
12:30
too.
here. Yep. Good
Time for
night,
me to go.
all. Hi,
Oh,
hi,
yeah,
Seth.
let's
Sorry
get
to
have a
leave right
business
when you
meeting
got
with
here.
Wrap it up. We can. Oh wait, Seth's here. I was talking about wrapping it up.
You're not running us off. Lance's topics are so.
Oh,
Just feel better.
See you guys.
See ya.
So what's the topic tonight?
we didn't really have one.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
That's
We just
a-
talked. We talked about some random stuff and talked about some TV shows, and yeah, like we always do. Nothing in particular. What's up, bud? How's life?
So you ever consider having like a more formal topic that we like that you announce ahead of time so people know what to look forward to, or do you not like to do that? Do you
We tried. It didn't work.
Didn't work out.
Yeah, this is like the second year we've been doing this, and it tends to when I try to push a topic, it usually end up just dying on the vine. So we just do what we always do. We have our 2 game shows, and we have our what did you play, and the airing of grievances. And somewhere along there, somebody starts talking about something that's interesting, and we kind of pounce on it and get going.
That and I wonder what the audience thinks is the best part, or what they'd like to see. Is there any feedback?
I
is
don't
there a
know.
guild
I think they hate us, and this is just something to have on in the background or something. I don't know. No, we have a fervent following.
You should start a BGG guild for it, like some of the other podcasts have, and get like a community going, and see what things people like the game shows and stuff. Also, I think I like the game shows. I like the airing of grievances, but I wouldn't mind seeing also a counterbalance to the airing of grievances, so it's just not all negativity. Maybe a airing of what's the opposite of grievance? Airing of pleasantries.
Like an exclamation of kudos.
Yeah, something like that. I understand people like Anthony might not have any thing good going on that they can talk about, but we could go for it.
Paul Tompkins wants to know if you have a choice between BGG Con or PAX Unplugged, what would you go to in November?
Good question, Paul. I have been to every single BGG Con event until they cheated and started having cruises and May family event. So I've never been to the one in May, and I went to one of the cruises, but not the second one, and I'm not going on this third one. But I've been to every single November BGG Con since they started. So I'm probably more likely to go to BGG Con. Although I wouldn't necessarily mind checking out PAX instead. Where is that located? Pennsylvania?
Philadelphia.
Where is Philadelphia? I don't know. I feel like I'm more likely to go to BGG Con. But yeah, I'm curious to see how PAX Unplugged goes. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much.
Daniel was suggesting that I actually take the reins of PAX Unplugged this year. Just a brand new thing. Go there and do it.
Even more reason for me to go to BGG Con. No, I mean, so we have coverage of both.
Yeah, they want to do both. So
I feel like I'm kind of a part of BGG Con in some ways. So I kind of want
to. Hey, Lance, I can come help out at PAX Unplugged.
Would you wanna?
Possibly, because it's actually less travel for me, and I could get off a day or two from work at that time of year to do that. But I can't get off more time to go to BGG.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely.
Do it.
We could. You're part of our proud network. We could just put a shirt on you and and we can demo. God, well, in November we'd probably be demoing Crusaders at that point. Supporting your Kickstarter.
Yeah. Ooh. And or I don't know if there's gonna be a Kickstarter, not for Crusaders.
You don't think so? I thought they were gonna go deluxeification on it.
Oh yeah, I guess that might be happening. I don't know. The other possibility is by that time be coming out. Eminence Domain Oblivion.
There you go.
Well, in fact, hey kitty cat, what's up? All four. I'm working on 4 games right now, and all 4 of them by the end of this month will be in I don't know, at Panda. And that is Oblivion, which will be out later this year. Probably demoing it there. Crusaders, which hopefully will be out later this year as well. And Harvest and Pioneer Days. So all 4 games I've been working on are going to be done, and I'm going to get to work on something new, and I'm super excited. I've been trying to ramp up my excitement about that.
I'm looking forward to Harvest.
I've already been excited. You're looking forward to Harvest? I like it. I think it's super fun. I have played it so many times, just trying to tweak and balance all the characters. So I'm pretty sure someone will complain, oh, this one's too good, or oh, this one's too bad. But I think we played it so much that even if they're a little off, it's not going to be so bad. So,
and then the
that's the
what
purpose.
was the other one? Well, Pioneer Days. But I haven't heard anything really about that. It's been kind of like backburnered seemingly.
Pioneer Days. Well, art's being done right now by a guy. It's the artist who did, I think it was Manhattan Project, is working on it. Sergi something, and
Cool.
And he's got because it was a short time frame, we wanted it done by the time I got him hired. He actually kind of subcontracted a graphic designer that lives in his town. They're in like Spain or someplace. I want to say Barcelona, but I'm not sure. And so they're working together on it, and they're doing a great job so far. They're playing the game, and then we're making like the board and then printing it out and playing the game with it to test it, which I think is great. A lot of the time you don't even get an artist that's like played the game at all, let alone played it with their prototype components that they're making so they can tweak it. So I'm excited to see. I think they're doing a great job so far, and I like the style they're going with, and I think it's been great. And the game itself, I think people are going to dig the game itself. For those who don't know what I'm talking about Pioneer Days, which is by
Manon.
co-designed by Matthew Dunstan, who did Relic Runners and who co-designed Elysium, and Chris Marling. And I think Chris just had a game come out from Queen Games last October. It's like some post-apocalyptic thing. I forget what it's called. I guess if I were industrious, I could look it up real quick. But anyway, it's probably the closest you're going to get to Oregon Trail board game without being a simulation of Oregon Trail board game. It's a dice drafting game where you are heading out west with your wagon train, and every once in a while there's a disaster that befalls everybody, and you have to deal with it, like a storm or a disease. But it's not supposed to be Oregon Trail, the board game. It's not like actually themed that way. It just feels that way. It's reminiscent of. In fact, funny story. So these guys, the designers, they're from Britain, and when they were pitching the game to me, I thought it sounded a lot like Oregon Trail, and they mentioned one of the disasters was disease, and I said, "Oh, do you die of dysentery?" And they looked at me like I was crazy, like they didn't know what I was talking about. And they're like, "Yeah, I guess you'd call it dysentery if you want." Like they didn't know, and I had to kind of tell them all this information about like this thing that people like me grew up with and they had never heard of. So that was pretty funny that they made a game could legitimately be referred to as Oregon Trail. In fact, for a little while, I wanted to try to license the Oregon Trail and like slap that license on there, but it was very difficult to find out who even owned it. It was, last I checked, it was like some like school library. I don't know. I forget, some library or something. Somebody owned the rights to it, and I couldn't figure out who, and I couldn't contact them. Apparently somebody did, because there's a Oregon Trail card game just came out recently, but I don't know. I ended up giving up on that and just going generic. So yeah, dice drafting game. You draft the die, and then you get 3 options of things you can do with that die. And if there's 4 players, there's 5 dice to be drafted, and whatever die is not drafted, the color of that die determines which disaster track gets advanced. And then when the disaster track gets to the end, you have to deal with it. So you'll see the disasters coming. most of the time you'll be able to go out of your way to prepare for them, or you could gamble that they're not going to happen. For example, if there's a yellow die and a blue die left, and yellow is disease and blue is raid, so maybe disease is about to happen, and if you don't have enough medicine for your townsfolk, you don't want disease to happen. So you could just take the yellow die, and that guarantees disease won't happen. But if there's like some other dice, you could draft something else, hoping that nobody else wants disease to happen either. So some neat decisions you can make that way. Similarly, if you see somebody else is unprepared for a disaster, you can kind of pressure them to get hurt by it or prepare for it. So yeah, it's got some really good stuff going on. And I've been playing with the character powers on this one recently to try to make them interesting and different, because as far as I can tell, and I'd like to hear in the chat how you guys feel about player powers, your character powers. But when we have games like Harbor, that seemed to do really well with having lots of different characters you could be with unique powers. And you've got King's Variant Steam, which originally had all the people, everyone was the same, and now in the end we added character powers on the the B sides of the board, and people really loved them. And a lot of people don't like to play with the standard beginner game with the equivalent players. Same thing with Steamworks. Steamworks, everyone has like that one's each character is a little bit on the A side is different from each other, but pretty standard-ish, like not too crazy. But then on the B sides, they get a lot more unique and a lot more special, which you end up making like 12 characters or something for a game, which is tough to balance, and it's a lot of work, but I think people really appreciate it. And so that's what I've been doing lately for Pioneer Days, is to kind of make the characters interesting and different. So yeah, go ahead, chat room. Tell me what you think about that. Is it worth it? And more specifically, do you like when there's an A side and a B side to the player boards, where like the A side is standard and everyone's the same, and then you flip it over on the B side and everyone's unique?
So first of all, they want to know if you'll be at Gamma.
I will not be at Gamma. I'm getting married.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna be too busy.
The following weekend, so I'll be busy. I don't know. I probably wouldn't go anyway, but I will not be at Gamma. I think that did Daniel say he's going? Somebody's going from TMG, I think, or they're talking about it.
Myself and Daniel are going to Gamma and MeepleCon.
Oh right.
And I think Rick Schran's going to go with us too.
Hey, does that mean you're not coming to my wedding?
Well, I wasn't going to be able to go anyway because it was. Oh. I mean, I seriously want to go. I got your gift, so I will be sending that. And wishing you the absolute best. Sweet. It's just what it hinged on whether or not my wife could go, and then
can she not?
Well, yeah, and ultimately she just couldn't get the time off of work. So
all right.
So
does she have family here?
I have a dad. My dad winters in Arizona, so it's one of those things where I could actually get kind of close to the home office, if you will, but. But someday I've got to go check out the home office in Utah just so I can say that I was there. So
yeah, we should arrange something where you and me and Adam all fly into Utah. Usually, I'd go over there for SaltCon.
You're doing SaltCon again, aren't you? Or no? Yes? No? Maybe?
I don't know if I can go this time just because of the proximity to the wedding.
Yeah, we're like we support the heck out of SaltCon every year, obviously, because it's kind of like our home con, right?
Yeah, last couple of years I've been going there, and Michelle came with me a couple times even, and usually it's great. I stay at Mike's house. We go to the thing, we play some games, we hang out. I've gone in the past. I've gone like a day early or 2 days early, and just gone into the office. Worked in the office for a day or two to kind of see the team and
feel like you're working,
coordinate. Yeah, and but this year I don't know that I'll go, just because it's literally the week before the wedding, and I probably will be busy. But I hope to return in the future years and possibly every year, and that would be a great time. Like if we could get you to get out there and Adam to get out there and like go the day before the con and get on the same page. I've tried to. It doesn't really pan out, but I've tried to sort of set it up where I go every 8 weeks or something to Utah just to kind of go into the office, and we could kind of use that as a like milepost or whatever, like, you know, get things done. We know we're going to have a team meeting kind of thing when Seth gets here. So like, you know, we can kind of schedule things around that and whatever, but like, it never really pans out, I guess. We should probably re-up that and try again. But
well, I do remember when Michael hired me, like the first thing he said to me, he said, working for TMG is not going to be like anything you've worked for before. It was like one of the first things he said, and it's true. Like I'll go like a good week without talking to like anybody, but like really Barb and I like will talk and as we're figuring out where we're sending stuff and which conventions we're supporting and things like that. Well, I probably talk to Barb every day, but I mean, everybody else, it's not that, you know, they shun me or I shun them. It's just, you know, I just have little interaction, right? Like,
yeah, I try to be on Skype every day, just to, not Skype,
Slack,
just to kind of touch base and stuff. And just, you know, yeah, sometimes you're working on more than one thing at a time and sometimes you're not, but I like to, that's one of the downsides to not being in the office, is that you're out of touch a little bit. And there's some downside to that. It's nice that it's great that we have the technology to work remotely.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, it's going to come with some downsides, but overall, I think it's pretty good.
I remember when I got hired, people asked me repeatedly, "So are you like moving to Utah?" I'm like, "No, I'm not moving to Utah. Why?" I was like, "Why does everybody assume I'm moving to Utah?"
That was wishful thinking.
Yeah. Oh, bazam. But yeah, no. So
I'm very disappointed in the 16 people in the chat room who didn't comment. Actually, a couple people did comment on the player boards, but I would actually had a specific question that I was starting to ask. I think it might have got interrupted though. What I'm wondering how people feel about, and you guys tell me how you feel about this. When you're playing games, I have a guess as to what your answer is, but when a player board does have an A side and a B side, how do you feel about that? Do you when you're learning a game, would you use the A side or would you skip straight to the B side because you feel like, you know, you've played a lot of games? Do you prefer to have games have like an A side that's basically standard so that you can learn the game without having to worry about all the intricacies of a particular player power, that kind of thing? Or would you rather just have unique players and no A side standard player board?
For me, it's that like, you're not asking me. Can I not answer? Or
yeah. No, that question is for both you guys and also the chat room. So people in the chat room can warm up their responses while you guys.
I'm a fan of options. Obviously, I mean, I'll play A side first if I get a, but there's been many times, I don't know about Anthony if he feels the same way, but I'll be playing a game and I'll realize that, wow, I'm really playing this on easy mode. I need to like reboot and try again, and I'll stop like after like a few turns in and I'll say, you know, okay, let's we're playing this on, you know, for like, you know, kindergarten mode. Let's just go back and restart and let's play it on the real level. I do that with co-ops a lot when I realize that a co-op is just way too easy, you know, just because like you play it like, okay, this is how you set it up for normal, and you realize that just because you played so many co-ops, you've got a pretty good idea of risk management and what have you. So you start over and like up it to hard or what have you. So yeah, I mean, but it's good to have the option, especially like with my kids. Like I'll definitely, if the, you know, quote unquote B side is like a more complex way to play, then like it's nice to have the A side. So when I play with my daughter, you know, and you know, I can play that with her, and you know, so yeah, I like having both options.
All right, so I like having the two sides, but I don't like when the A side is the easy side. I like when the A side is the level playing field side. So I don't know if either of you have played Praetor from Menace Can.
Oh yeah.
So
once I did.
Okay, so the A side of the board, everyone gets the same thing. You have the same levels for each thing on the board. The B side, they vary. So the way the points go up on them are different. The amount of slots you have for certain things are different. So you may have an advantage on this side, but you have a disadvantage on this side. And those things are cool, the two B sides. But when they did A side just to dumb things down, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, having an A side so everyone's on the same playing field, great. But once you add in something that, just makes it, this is only half the stuff in the game, just so you get a feel for it, that makes no sense, because you're going to use it that first game you play, and then you're never going to use that again. Like, I have no problem playing with the A sides on games where everyone is even, especially when you're playing with newer people, even the people who are very seasoned gamers. It's just like, okay, we're gonna play everyone on the same playing field.
Huh. That's interesting. And I think I know what you're saying. As an example, Kings of Air and Steam had A side, B side, where A side everyone was exactly the same. All the you didn't have a player power. It was everyone started with the same character, I guess. And then on the B sides, they were all unique and stuff. And I don't think that we even tried to make them balanced such that you could choose to play the A side if you wanted while I was playing the B side. If you did that, you'd be at a disadvantage. So it was either everyone uses A side and it's level playing field, or everyone uses the B side and it's, hopefully balanced. So what I'm doing in these two games, the Pioneer Days and also Harvest, is, especially Pioneer Days, is basically so there's going to be 8 characters in the game. So, and then a 9th one, which is on par with the other 8, but it's standard, kind of. It's like, it's not particularly leaning towards any particular strategy. It's just your standard board. And what I'm going to say in the rules is, on your first game, everyone should play the A side. So you're the standard Pioneer. Everyone's got the same level playing field, like you said. But in the standard, once you know how to play, I'm going to say deal 2 boards to each player, and then each player can pick, this character B side, this character B side, or A side, which is a viable choice if you like it better. So you'll have 3 options. And it could be that 2 people or 3 people play the standard Pioneer. I'm wondering if that's going to go over well. It's kind of an evolution of A side, B side, where A side is the learning game and B side is the standard game, basically. And it's kind of intended, I guess, to address what you're saying, where you don't want the A side to be, you want it to be more straightforward and like middle of the road maybe, but not dumbed down, like you said. I don't want it to be like training wheel mode. So that's what I decided to do for Pioneer Days. And before I got to Pioneer Days, when I was working on Harvest, I sort of did a similar thing. Basically, I wanted A side to be like you don't have a special power, basically. Everyone started the same. And the B side's all these special powers. Well, I wanted this the possibility for somebody who's a new player to play the A side and not have to worry about a special power, but be on par with the B sides. So basically, the A side in Harvest is you just get an extra 15 points or whatever at the end of the game. So the A side is super straightforward, and you don't get any special powers, which is actually sort of a detriment if you're playing against people on the B side. But you get 15 points, which is like a big, chunk of points. So that was my attempt. That was my first attempt at just making like in Puerto Rico, they have the statue, which is the big building that's just worth 8 points or whatever. And the other buildings are worth some variable number of points. And I kind of like when games have something like that. So this is kind of like the statue of the player powers. You just get, this guy's got, you get 15-point head start, and that's all you get. And then I took it one step farther with Pioneer Days and just said, look, you've got a character that's hopefully as strong or balanced with the other characters. It's just, got a little bit of everything to start instead of being like particularly geared towards a couple of strategies or whatever. Like a lot of times these player powers kind of nudge you towards a particular type of strategy, and that's kind of what they do. And it sucks if they do that too much, because then you feel forced to do that thing. But anyway, so the standard board being on par with the B sides, I think is I'm curious how that's going to go over. So we'll see.
Okay, as long as it works out, kind of like the Seven Wonders A and B sides. You can play either side on those, so you can,
And
when you deal it out, right. So,
So if I'm playing A side and you're playing B side, we're still fair, right?
Right, because especially if you're dealing out the player boards to people, someone may get a B side that they're like, oh my god, I don't know how to play, how to work this. I'm just gonna play the A side. As long as it stays balanced with what the other people have, then it's fine.
Right. Which is why I think I like the idea that I'm going with for Pioneer Days, where you'll have basically 3 options in the standard game. You'll get 3. You'll get 2 player boards. Do I want this guy? Do I want to this guy's really, I don't know, better if you do a lot of digging for gold. So maybe I'll choose him and go with a gold digging strategy. Or I'll take this one who's better at, I don't know, some other aspect. Or if I don't like either of those, I can always take the standard. Which I think is going to be cool. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that goes over. Because I could see that being the sort of standard way I approach player powers in the future. Because I do like a standard A-side board for that teaching game. I've had a lot of times where I'm doing playtesting, so I want to use the B-sides and balance powers and stuff, and I'm teaching new players the game, and I'm like throwing them right into the B-sides. And one of the comments I often get is, it's tough to learn the game and also have to keep track of what everyone's player powers are and stuff. So that's the whole reason to even consider having A-sides and B-sides, is to have sort of a standard, even playing field and easier to learn game, even if most players most of the time play on the B-side. Is my thought. We'll see if that pans out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, have you made any ground on your put the developer on the box campaign?
Nah, I haven't really done anything with that. I haven't followed up on that at all. I mean, the developer gets listed on the back of the box. With Pioneer Days, with these European artists, they are interested in having. You've seen some of the European publishers will put the artist's name on the covering in addition to the designer, right? They'll have a little a gear or something, and then the designer's name, and then a little paintbrush and the artist's name. Right on the cover of the box, which is interesting. I think we talked about this before. Have you guys seen that? If you look on Discoveries or something.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I mean, you can probably. I believe you. Does that help?
FYI, the game from the Queen Games that Chris Marling just put out
Armageddon?
is called Armageddon.
Yeah.
I've not played it, so I don't know anything about it. But yeah, I'm looking here. If we look at I think Discoveries has it. I think it's these French. Is it the French ones? I don't know. Let's see. If you look at Discoveries, here we go. Shall I screen share really fast? All right. Boom. Discoveries. See right here, it's got the gears, and it's got the designer's name, and it has a paintbrush, and it has Vincent Dutrait.
Yep.
This is where the European, I don't know if they're all moving this way or just a few of them, or maybe it's just this company. I've seen this before, though. I think that's interesting. But I wonder, where do you stop? Do you put also a Photoshop icon and the graphic designer's name, and then another icon and the developer's name, and then a printing press and the manufacturer's name? At what point do you draw the line? Now, I do think, considering that art sells games off the shelf, if you have really good art in your game, it's probably worth putting the artist's name on the box. At some point, though, I mean, do you really put the developer's name? Do you do so only in the case where it's a co-design effort type of thing, or do you do it all the time? It's a big question, and I think most people don't care about the answer.
Yeah. I mean, it's recognition for all those things. It's I'm not going to mention any names, but I know of a game that is coming out that I play tested, a couple of years ago, and I play tested again about a year ago. And the original game was designed by a fairly prominent designer, and they washed their hands of the game, kind of thing. They're like, well, I really don't have time, to work on this anymore. And so, like, it was one of those things where a company like reached out to them and said, here, we want you to design a game like this. And so then they paid them X amount for this amount of that person's time. And so then they came up with like a real bare bones type of thing. And then worked on it for a little while, and then just said, I don't have time to work on this anymore. And so then the company just took it and they handed off to development. And in the last 2 years, they've developed the game and got it ready for publishing. And the designer himself even joked, my name's going to be on this box, and I did about, a third of the work on it, if that.
Well, I was listening to a podcast, and the guy that designed Trove, was it Trove? The one that's like you play as the cave or you play as the dragon, where he had
Vast.
Oh, Vast. Trove is something else. Sorry, Vast. He had said that something like he had, had the game and someone was going to publish it, and he thought that was great, and then the publisher ran with it and did some stuff and whatever. And then when he sat down to play the final version, he wasn't sure what was gonna, what he was gonna see, because he knew that the publisher had worked on it a lot. He had said something like that in a podcast interview. So I know that sometimes that happens, and sometimes it, sometimes a lot of development happens, sometimes almost nothing happens, and sometimes it happens with the designer in the loop, and sometimes it happens without the designer in the loop.
All right. So since we're telling stories without mentioning names, there is a game that's out there. It's been out for a few years now, where I actually contacted the designer when it was coming out to ask if they wanted to come on the show. And they basically told me no, because they were trying to get their name off the box, because the game that was released is not even close to the game they submitted and signed. And they basically told the publisher, don't put my name. You don't have to put my name on the box. I don't care. I don't want recognition. You guys changed like the whole thing. This isn't my game anymore. It's like such a bare, not even remotely identifiable as the game I turned in. And they were really upset that their name was associated with the game when it came out.
Really?
I think I've heard of stuff like that. I know, or I think that I remember hearing Reiner Knizia talk about at some convention that he was talking about something. I think he said he puts some kind of clause in the contract where he gets final say if someone's going to change rules. Like you can't just change a rule and not tell them. Somebody just asked, Kabuki Kid just asked about what about when rules are changed without letting the designer know. And I think that if you're Reiner Knizia, you can do that. If you're not, you might not have the clout to be able to make that demand, I guess. But I guess you could, right? You could say, hey, my name's on this game. I this is my brand as a designer. If you're going to change rules, I need to okay them. On the downside, that just makes it harder for the publisher to be like, okay, I want to work with you, because now I got to worry about, oh, well, what if we want to change this thing and you don't want to, right? Like, now we're going to argue about it or what? Because at the same time, as the developer for a publisher, if I'm going to do my job, sometimes I have a disagreement with a designer, and if we're publishing the game at the end, we need to, we might need to change a thing, and if the designer doesn't want to change that thing, like now you're at an impasse. What do you do? And I think very, very seldom have I ever changed a rule on a designer without them being in on it.
Well, that's the whole thing. He was not involved in any of these changes that were made. Like, literally, he was under the impression that the way the game was when they did their first round of development, it was pretty much the game that was coming out. And then when they went back and redeveloped and worked on it again, they changed. Like, he told me like 90% of the game is different.
I think, well, I mean, anything can happen. I feel like it's pretty unlikely that anyone's going to be able to change a game that, or is going to be interested in changing a game that much. But I guess they could, right? They could say, we like this idea, but we want it to be like different. I guess I've done that. if I think about it. But I've just done it with the designer.
I just realized something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
What'd you realize?
I've been reminding myself that I need to cancel that Medieval Universalis Kickstarter, and I haven't yet. And I was like sitting there, wait a
And
minute.
it just funded.
No, it goes through on the 10th, and it's the 9th now. So yeah, I can still, yes, goodbye. You don't get my $200, whatever it is that
Why'd you place $200 in the first place?
because it's a giant map game, and I am a sucker for giant map games. It just looks like it's a complete wreck of a Kickstarter right now. Like the rules are horrible, and but hey, it's got like 170 grand or whatever of people backing it up. So I mean, obviously some people are much more believing in it, if you will, than I am. So it yells, you're going to wait 3-4 years for this. And then maybe it's kind of like the Kingdom Death one. It's just like, we might be able to get you the pledge manager for this sometime in August, just like, okay.
Don't you rush us.
Yeah.
You'll get it when you get it.
And there's so many people that's I don't even care that they're like that. I mean, I don't even care that they have that mentality with it at all. Honestly, it's more the fact that there are people that are like, this is kind of dumb. Why can't we can we have something better? And then there's like this horde of people that just will jump on top of anybody who has the unmitigated gall to even suggest such a thing, and just blow those people up. And just like, you don't talk bad about Kingdom Death Monster. Just like,
I'm surprised people like that as much as, I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I've heard some people really enjoy playing it, and more power to them if that's their kind of game. It does not sound like my kind of game. that's for sure. But I don't know. Apparently people that like that kind of thing really like that kind of thing and are interested in paying $200 to get a copy.
200. What are you going? You can't get that game for $200. What kind of world do you live in? Well, I suppose you can get like the weird upgrade or whatever.
And then they're gonna get it like, okay, I'll pay $250 or something for a game that I'll get in 4 years or whatever. Like, I don't know. It doesn't track for me, but that's, maybe it's not aimed at me, so that's fine. Like,
the weirdest thing about it is that, like, I know almost nothing about how the game is played. I know absolutely nothing, almost nothing about most of it. Scott Alden has said repeatedly that the game is just fantastic, but he said if I tell you about it, then I'm ruining some of the fantastic parts of it. So he said it's just you need to play it, kind of one of those things. And
John Edwards in the chat says he's played 200 plus hours of Kingdom Death Monster, not including the hours of miniature assembly time, and it's his favorite game. Well, there you go. So, John, what is your favorite thing about Kingdom Death Monster? What's so appealing that you're going to play it for 200 hours? I don't know if I've played. Well, that's not true. I've played a lot of games 200 hours worth, but I mean, hell, I played Eminence Main. I probably played like 500 times, 400 and some odd times, for anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes each. So that's probably a lot of hours with Eminence Main. But I'm curious. I'm invested in that. Curious, what about Kingdom Death Monster keeps you coming back for more?
You might get an answer from him at some point.
He has to. It'll be like 10, 15, 20 seconds before he even hears that question. So,
no.
So we'll come back to that. So.
No. I mean, like I said, I backed it for $3. The campaign gameplay of building a community and strategizing, the kind of addiction that a game like Civilization or XCOM has.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I assumed that would be true. I mean, I feel like it's more the kind of thing. It's like a role-playing game. Like, I guess I've played a few role-playing games in the past, like D&D campaigns and whatever, and they're not really my thing. They never really did what I wanted them to do, which is fine. It's not my kind of thing. But I've got some friends that are super into role-playing games. They love the indie role. Like for them, Dungeons and Dragons is like the Monopoly of role-playing games. Like, you know how we talk about Monopoly being like, oh yeah, everyone, doesn't like it, or, it's boring, it takes too long, and blah, 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 whatever. But yet it's so super popular and everyone's played it and everyone knows it and everyone has it. So for my friends that like these indie role-playing games, D&D is like their Monopoly. And they have all these other games though. And I've watched them play. I played like Fiasco with them a couple of times and stuff like that. But they really get into the storytelling and the world building and stuff like that. And I like the idea of that. I don't know. The process doesn't excite me as much as, I don't know, sitting down to play a game of Brass or Puerto Rico or something. For some reason, I just really prefer the, I don't know, competitive nature of a competitive board game.
Okay.
That's just a different whole thing. So I wonder if a lot of the people that are digging the Kingdom Death Monster are the types of people who prefer, who are into the role-playing games and not into, say, tournament Magic, for example, or tournament Puerto Rico or whatever. It wouldn't surprise me because I get the impression that that's the kind of thing, the kind of experience you're getting is like the campaign, like John said, the campaign gameplay. It reminds me of a D&D campaign, So if you are going to play role-playing games, I remember seeing one called Lady Blackbird that looked neat. I watched some people play it a little bit and I looked into it. I even printed out the stuff, and so I thought I might try it sometime, but I never did. And then Fiasco is kind of neat too. However, as going on a tangent, so yeah, have you guys played Fiasco? Anyone?
I have.
You have? Do you like it?
Fiascos is one of those games that you need to I'm gonna use a good word. You need to vet who you're playing with going in.
Huh. Yeah, that's probably true of most games, I guess, especially role-playing games. But yeah, Fiasco, and maybe it's more fragile in that respect too. But I played Fiasco a couple of times with my friends, and I watched them play and stuff, and I liked the idea of it. But I had an issue, and my issue was, and it has to do with how that game works. And I figured if I was going to sit down and contribute to a storytelling, like I'd have an idea for like a segment of story, and I'd start telling that segment of story, and I'd always get interrupted, and it would drive off in another direction. And the fun part of the story was what was going to happen at the end of this little segment or whatever, the end of the thought. But I always got interrupted before I got to the end of my thought, so I didn't. And that's kind of how that game goes. It's supposed to be like that, and I just found it disappointing because I always wanted to be like, this is going to happen, but before that happens, I have to say this part, and I'd say this part and get interrupted, and the story would go off some other way, and I never got to say the thing I wanted to say about the story, about what happens, about whatever. And so I was like, man, so a game like Fiasco have to be like for me to like it better. And I never tried it, but I actually wrote up or made up I guess you could say a storytelling game along the lines of Fiasco, but instead of creating a Fiasco movie like Fargo or whatever, it would give you a story like Pulp Fiction, where it would have a few different discrete storylines that would kind of like interweave and intercept each other. And the point was to give each storyteller a little more agency over their part of the story, and they could say, this is what happens. They get a chance to like monologue for a minute and say, this is what happens to this group of people over here. And then they say, okay, well, now we're in the diner, and oh, you're in the diner, and you have an interactive scene where you do like Fiasco, and then in the camera or whatever would follow the other guy, the next player's, group after they leave the diner or whatever. And I feel like it could work in the same way Fiasco works, but I don't know. I wasn't really interested enough in playing that kind of game to ever actually try it. But.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's I can't. I mean, role playing is great and fun and whatever. As far as the whole process and whatever of the game, but I can't I don't know. It drives me crazy. You know, like non-deterministic stuff. You know, drives me crazy a little bit. You know, where it's just kind of like, you know, like, oh, well, just like I kind of told the best story, so you know, just like, you know, therefore this wins. And I understand, like, you're building up a little whatever, you know.
Well, there's no winning in those games. I mean, everyone wins, right? There's no winning.
It's just telling a story. It's like, oh.
Yeah, in fact, I'd hesitate to call it a game so much as it's like a collaborative storytelling exercise, but, you know, we call that a role-playing game.
Well, and technically, Dungeons & Dragons doesn't really have a win or lose either. Yeah, you get to the bottom of the dungeon or, you know, whatever.
That's
but I mean,
a game like a cooperative game's a game. Like Dungeons & Dragons is like it's like Descent. Like, yeah, it is a game, only there's like more storytelling than in Descent. It's like the combat part of D&D. So I feel like that is kind of a game. But if you talk to like the role players, the best version of D&D is where you're not playing against the DM. You're playing, you know, you're creating a story with the DM. So the DM's going to like.
Well, if a good DM isn't playing against the players anyway. The whole idea of like the killer DM looking to kill off characters, that's BS. Nobody does that.
Yeah, that's kind of not fun for most people probably.
No.
Well, as I understand it, the better role-playing games are the ones, or the better, you know, story-driven games are the ones where there isn't like failure. There isn't like, I'm going to pick this lock, roll a die. Nope, I didn't do it. I guess I'm not going to that room. Instead, it's like you get to do whatever you want for the most part, but like there's no role to see if you succeed. Instead, it's like you succeed or fail. You get to do the thing you want, but if you fail, you know, it introduces more challenges.
Well, okay. See, now you're diving into the dungeon world system now. Dungeon World basically. Well, Dungeon World. If you know Dungeon World, I mean, I'm assuming you do because I think you're talking like you understand what you're talking about. Yeah, Dungeon World is under this premise of like yeah, you can fail at something. I mean, like in Dungeons and Dragons, like it's like I need a 17 or better on this die to hit the orc. Oh, I didn't get it. I failed. But in Dungeon World, it's one of those things where yeah, you can roll really, really awful and you can just flat out fail. But a lot of times you'll just succeed. Oh, okay, I hit the goblin with my sword and I do some damage. But a lot of times it's you succeed, but you but like at a cost, you know. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, well, and then the narrative of the story, the DM, the person running Dungeon World, will say to them, it's like you can hit the goblin and you can maybe even kill him, but you're gonna but because of the fact that, you know, like what you rolled, like on the fly, you kind of come up with this like mentality of it's like, okay, but you're gonna have to like really exert a lot of effort and you're gonna have to charge over to get him and you're gonna leave yourself open for an attack from his buddy. Do you still want to hit him? And so then it's like, oh, and then they have to weigh that option. They figured out. When I remember one time we played Dungeon World, and basically like one of the really fun moments we had was there was this like goblin shaman that had this magic wand, and he was zapping players with it and doing damage to them. And so one of them somebody ran over to kill him, and they basically, you can succeed with, you know, like, you know, you can succeed with issues or whatever it's called. And I basically ruled that like, yeah, you can kill him, but basically he's using the wand to try to parry your sword. You're probably going to break the wand if you kill him. And the mage in the party really wanted the wand. He's like, "No, do it." He's like, "Screw you! This guy's killing us. I'm destroying the wand." You know, and he did it. You know, and it was a good moment. You know, and then Dungeon World kind of creates that kind of system, but you still have dice and you still have, you know, things going on, which I like. So, yeah, I don't know. It's RPGs. I need deterministic stuff in RPGs though. I do like get a 17 or better. You know, I like that. You know, so. I don't know. Good stuff. Yeah.
Well, that was another thing that was in that Lady Blackbird game, was that like anything you're going to, I was reading through the guidelines or whatever for running the game. And it basically said, anything you want to do, you're going to do. The question is, what's going to be the result of that? Like, you know, you start out, you're locked in like the brig of like a boat or whatever, and or the ship, a spaceship or something, and you're going to escape. And then like, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to like kick the door open? Okay, well, you want to kick the door open. Okay, well, if you don't do a good job, then you kick it open, but like it makes a lot of noise and guards come running. Or you do a good job and like, okay, you kicked it open, you can walk through now or whatever. But either way, you're opening that door.
Well, see, that feeds into my whole idea is like that role playing games in general. There's something really amazing about them because of the fact that, like, and I've said this before, and I apologize for repeating myself, but like when you sit down to play a role playing game, I sit down to play D&D with me and my 5 buddies. All right, so we're going into the ruins of Spectral Keep or whatever. It's like, so we all know, like, pretty much for sure that these guys are going to go into Spectral Keep. They're going to have some challenges. They're going to run into some monsters. They're going to see some. They're going to have some traps and maybe have a puzzle or a riddle or two. But ultimately, they're going to succeed. They're going to get out of there. They're going to have some treasure. They're going to get some experience, and everybody knows in the back of their head that's exactly what's going to happen. But there's this willing suspension of disbelief that, like, you just say, oh, well, oh, wow, it's the Spectral Keep. This is scary. This is going to, we might never come back. It's like, but you're not. It's like, it's because, and then the dungeon master works with the players to create a narrative, to create a story of this exploration of this ruin, and you all have fun. But you don't ever address the fact that, yeah, we're pretty sure, everything's going to be fine, which I think is really amazing about role-playing games. It really is.
If you ever have the chance, Lance, I think this would be hilarious. It's kind of an inside joke though. If you ever have the chance to get Mike to like play a quick short little D&D experience,
have him fall in the pit.
Oh, did he tell you this already?
Yeah, it's actually on the podcast that I'm waiting for the other people to like come and get their things so I can upload all of them and get our podcast launched. But yeah,
go east and west. I'll go east. You fall in the pit, you die.
No, go back.
All right, you fall in the pit, you die. Dang it! He already told you that story. Okay, because that would be hilarious if you like got him to. If you hounded him and finally got him to play D&D, and you're like, okay, you're in a passage, what do you want to do? And Mike's like, let's go this way. And you go, all right, you fall in the pit, you die. I think that would be hilarious.
No, I've been trying to get, like I said, like, let's once a month, I want to have everybody play. We'll do a Google Hangout and we'll play D&D together. And like, and I got Daniel really wants to do it, and a few other people like say they want to do it, and I've been trying to like convince, but it's just like, the TMG employees are kind of like a herd of cats. You really can't. It's tough to get them all, all on the same page. It's like, and a lot of times it's like,
promise them onion rings.
Yeah,
or Dr. Pepper. Or
yeah.
They each have their thing. You got to be like, here's some Dr. Pepper. Here's some licorice. What's it called? The Twizzler or whatever. No, what's the one Mike likes?
Vines.
The red vines. And here's some I don't know, Legos or to play with or something. Oh, some monster. You gotta. Each one has their bait.
Yeah,
that'd be funny if you like on our website or something. If you had a page with each TMG employee's face and then or avatar, and then an item which is like their favorite thing, like Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew and Red Vines and Monster, and you got to connect who which TMG employee likes Mountain Dew. Oh, it's Seth.
Daniel gave up Monster. You hear about that? Daniel gave up Monster. He gave up Monster.
Yeah, weren't too many heart flutters or what?
He just
what does that do?
It was just one of those like he had to just it was bad for him kind of thing, and he just decided he wasn't going to drink it anymore.
Well, good on him. That's probably a good choice. That stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but I just like, how do you do it? That was my, it would drive me crazy.
Lord Obvious says it was Jolt Cola back in the day. I used to drink Jolt Cola. I remember it was good if it was cold. It was terrible if it wasn't cold.
I remember when we when we had our meeting at Gen Con, like super late, and like Misha was like falling asleep while he was sitting there. But I remember telling I remember like the argument they're like they didn't have Dr. Pepper, but they had Pib Extra, and both Aaron and Andy were like, yeah, Pib Extra is horrible. And I was like, you guys are crazy. Pib Extra is like 10 times the soda Dr. Pepper is. They refuse to drink it. And I remember they brought me a full pitcher of Pib Extra, and I just sat there drinking right out of the pitcher because it was so good.
All I know is when I go to Gen Con, I have to rely on Mellow Yellow, which is Coke's version of Mountain Dew, which is not as good, but it's not too bad. Because they don't have freaking like Pepsi product, I guess. So they don't have Mountain Dew over there. And even worse, you go to like Essen, and there's Coke, but it tastes weird, and like just there's no sodas that I want to drink at all. And lately it's been much easier to get water, but the first time I went to Essen, it was hard to get water too, and it was terrible. But,
Really? Weird.
Yeah. But nowadays it's a lot easier to get water, so that's good. Kind of expensive sometimes, though.
All right. Well, it's getting late. I think we're going to wrap her up.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. We both have to work tomorrow. Anthony has to work tomorrow. Don't you, Anthony?
I'm working from home. It's going to snow here.
Oh, like you're going to get an inch or two and you're just going to have to shut her down?
Well,
or
it was funny. We had 63 degrees here today, and tomorrow we're getting somewhere between, well, depending on what you ask, we're getting somewhere between 3 inches and a foot of snow tomorrow. So I'm not going anywhere.
Well, maybe if you ask somebody who has small feet.
Then man, 63 degrees. That would be nice.
It was ridiculous. I put my jacket on because I work from home on Wednesdays, and I had to go pick up my daughter. So I threw my jacket on, like warmed my car up from inside the house. I went outside, and I was like, what the hell did I just wasted gas? I could have just jumped in the car and left.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense, though.
I was at Frisbee tonight, and I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. So,
attaboy. Good for you.
I don't know what temperature it is, but it's pretty nice.
Well, yeah. Today it was, I think, 1 when I got up and I took the kids.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a heat wave.
Apparently it's 54 degrees now.
Good old 1.
It's unseasonably warm.
Here, hold on. I'll find out exactly what the weather was like here. Let me see here. What is it? How cold is it right now in Moorhead, Minnesota? I'm sure it's negative.
It's going to be in 80s tomorrow. That's great.
-2. Feels like -9.
The high tomorrow is 86 degrees.
Yeah, I hear this is how crazy the weather is in Minnesota. So today it was 1 and we had to make it -2. Tomorrow we're supposed to have a high of 10 degrees, a low of -5. Friday 43 degrees. And then it's just supposed to stay above freezing for like 4 or 5 days. And like, just for no reason. And then after the weekend shows up, back down to -2. It's just like, make up your mind. And what's funny is that my daughter has a field trip tomorrow for, it's called,
swimming?
No, it's called winter survival. So they're supposed to dress up in layers, and they're going to go for a walk, and they're going to walk to this thing, and they're going to learn winter survival techniques, stuff like that. So it's perfect because it'll actually be like 17 degrees. It won't be stupid cold, but it'll be cold. If it had been on Friday, it'd be like 43 degrees out. They'd be like wearing multiple layers and sweating through them all. And so I thought it was funny that it's going to be like nice out this weekend. So what do you do? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out and talk and listen. All you guys are super nice and super cool for doing so. Thanks, Anthony, for staying up late, hanging out, talking. Thanks for joining us late, Seth.
Sure.
A
little sooner.
Yeah. Anthony, you got any podcasts coming out anytime soon?
Yeah, next week we'll have one out.
All right. So, and where can somebody find that podcast if they wanted to listen to it?
thesecretcabal.com.
I didn't even make that joke today, and I actually reprimanded somebody for making that joke. So,
well, there you go.
There you go. All right, boys. Get some sleep. Get some rest. Let's go work for Dargan tomorrow there, Seth.
Yeah, I got some work to do on with artists on a couple of these games. Get this done.
Good deal. Good night, everybody.
Talk to you later.
Good night.